Boom! Go Getters Podcast. Here with my dog, Chase Struther, Coach Struther. What's going on with you guys, man? How you guys living?
Living good, man.
Working out, Haven't been up to nothing.
Playing football, still chasing that dream since we were young.
Yeah. Sir.
Trying to get paid to do what we love, man.
That's the plan.
No doubt. Yo, I got a question, bro, before we get into some serious stuff. Remember that one time we slept at your house? And I think it might have been at game day. This is like mini football days. And I think it was Kev, but you gotta make sure. We stayed up till like, bro, maybe 4 a.m. We were like the second game to go out, like CT antics. And we put mustard in somebody's cleats or shoes. Bro, was that Kev?
It was in trench cleats we put the stuff in.
It wasn't Kev?
Nah, I don't remember that happening to me. You remember playing with the Nerf guns, though, in the basement?
Yeah.
I thought that's what you was going to say. Yeah, I remember that.
I remember the mustard it was on the pillow. It was the mustard on the pillow.
And
with Kuddish, Josh Kuddish.
Yeah, that.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have swore we violated Kevin somehow, bro. And I remember him being.
Probably did.
We put shampoo in my brother's shoes.
Yeah.
That I remember. I remember that.
That was on a game day, too. And we were up at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And then, we still woke up and busted some tail, though.
Yeah, I'm sure we did.
Mini Mohawks days were too fun, bro.
How was Trent, Ben? How's Trent?
Working.
Yeah.
Working man now.
Is he still playing football at all?
He messed up his knee pretty bad.
Yeah, he busted up his knee again in 11th grade.
Wow.
First game of the season.
Took a lunge and stretching and blew his whole knee out.
Damn, what did he do? Like, what did he tear?
It's patella tendon.
Oh.
The whole kneecap.
yeah.
Popped out and was like on the side.
Yeah, did he have to get surgery?
Nah, thank God. He did a lot of like rehab.
Yeah.
Because they said if he did surgery, like by the time he turned 50, he'd have to get another surgery.
Oh man.
So
They said he was too young for that kind of surgery.
yeah.
Yo,
Like a
Chase,
knee replacement?
do you have any injuries going on?
I tore my ACL, my meniscus at life.
Ooh.
Oh, really? And what was that like?
I mean, honestly, I tore my ACL, my meniscus around.
Were they at the same time?
Yeah, it was a one
Wow.
play. I was blocking somebody, and a guy came in to make a tackle, and alligator roll tackled and ran into my knee, and I fell over it. So I thought I was done. If I'm being honest,
You knew immediately, like, or was the adrenaline so high, like you didn't even know?
like no, I fell. I instantly went back. Like I got up right away, and then I fell right back down. Like my knee instantly was gone, and I got surgery in May, and I was able to play in August. Came back way too early, but
Yeah.
I haven't had no setbacks yet.
How's it feel, like, when you're active and stuff like that?
It don't hurt no more. I
Really?
mean, here and there it'll lock up, and when we're working out, it'll be like it gets sore, it gets swollen. That's what I got trainers for.
How long ago was that?
At LAC, right?
Yeah, probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years.
And there's no, like, you really don't have much, like, lasting, like, impressions of that injury? Because that's, like, one of the hardest ones to come back to. I'd imagine. Do you play both sides of the ball, or just
offense.
Offense? Okay. Yeah, I would imagine, especially for an offensive lineman, man, that got to be hard to bounce back from.
It is, and I play tackle now, so like trying to block 220 DNs.
Yeah.
It gets difficult.
Yeah.
Especially the chop blocks, right? They coming down at your knees. Yo, you still training right now? Like, what type of training you into right now?
Really just running. I'm not really too big into weights now. I bench 375, squat 720.
Yeah.
I'm not working on weights right now. I'm just trying to condition, tighten it up.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What are you at right now, like, height and weight-wise?
6'3", almost 6'4", 295, 293.
That's a big voice, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Remember when we were on mini football, we used to have them strapped up with the garbage bag running laps so they could make weight? Yo, it's not like that anymore. You know that?
Really?
They don't have, like, weight limits, I don't think. I think,
That's
like,
what Coach Dan was saying, right?
yeah, like, I think you have to be a certain weight to play skill positions.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But I think
I've heard that before. I was talking to a couple of the coaches now because they joined the BYFL league up in Berwick. So they're not just like Luzerne County now. They actually play up in Berwick now.
Okay.
And a friend of mine's a coach up there, and I was talking to him. So yeah, they said you have to be like in the top 10 like pounds to be a skilled player.
Yo, what are you up to though, man? You think you ever consider coaching again?
I thought about it because my niece is a cheerleader now over in Edwardsville.
Yeah.
At Lark and
The Hurricanes? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
And they're bad.
Oh, really?
they're real bad.
Yeah.
Like the kids,
And-
like the football players and stuff, right?
No, it's not the players. I believe any kid can play football, coach properly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The
You know
You know
coaching.
what I'm saying? It's the coaching
Yeah.
because Like I just it
Not
was
enough
just
time
bad.
putting
Like,
in.
Yeah, I don't know if it's or maybe not even enough knowledge. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Because I was like I said, I went to the games, and I would stay and watch all three teams play, and it was just bad on all levels. But you could see like there's sparks of kids shining on the field. You know, so if they were coached better, they'd be better.
Yeah, that's interesting, man,
know?
because like a person like yourself or a person who really understands the game of football has to know it in a way where you can explain it to a young like 5-year-old or a
Yeah.
6-year-old or a
That's what I was
7-year-old.
thinking about getting to.
You know, and then and like be able to plant those seeds to create an interest for them to want to learn more about the game as well to become a better player. So
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of like coaches don't understand that. Like you have to put it in terms of their understanding so that
Yeah.
they know how to play and they have an interest in it as well. You know?
Yeah, it's hard, you know, like because you get a lot of parents who bring their kids to football because it's more for them, for like a social hour.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of moms do that.
Yeah.
Like when you guys played, I had a couple of kids come out, you know, and they're like I guess they had the kids had like ADHD.
Yeah.
So they hop them up on that drug and they're like zombies out
Yeah,
there.
man.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't be like that playing football.
I think I have a controversial like opinion on that. I don't know if I really believe in like ADHD. I think it's just like a kid being energetic, like an
Yeah.
energetic boy. I don't think I don't believe it, but I don't think it's as like
Um,
as taboo as like the industries are making it seem to be. You know what I mean?
I think that there's a lot of stuff out there that doctors put names on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have no answer for it.
Yeah. And they're making it seem like it's more troublesome than it may really be.
I would say I believe in it for the simple fact that when I was a kid, I believe I had it because I was like all over the place, you know, and I get in
Yeah.
trouble all the time, and I find myself doing like
ticking
foot
and
tap.
shit, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't even realize I was doing it,
Right.
You know, but back then they had no idea what ADHD
Right.
was. But my thing is this: I think if more parents took the time to parent
Yeah.
and not let the TV and the video games be the parent, then you wouldn't need the medication because
Yeah.
both
I
my
agree.
boys had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No
You-
doubt. Yeah, especially
we were-
them two, right? Bro?
Exactly.
Menaces when we were young.
Exactly. They both
I
had
swear.
it, and they didn't take any medicine
Yeah.
for it, you know?
Right. But see, like football is an outlet, though. Like that's a way for you to get your energy out and stuff like
Right.
that.
A lot of people don't have that, and they're just cooped up in a house all day, especially over these last couple of years. It's
Right.
hard not to, go crazy, especially as like a younger kid with social media and stuff, you know. I kind of agree with him though in the sense that I don't necessarily think you need medication at all for a lot of those things. I think they could be solved other ways, like
Right.
any
Well-
kind of therapy, or you could
Right.
focus on what the problem for what it is and handle that one
Right.
step at a time.
Well,
Like
that's-
find a way to beat it.
that's big medicine trying to make money. That's
No
what-
doubt.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt. But I also think like one of the ways in which they use like an indicator is like, all right, this kid's not paying attention in school.
Yeah.
But like, does he care about Shakespeare? Does he care about poetry? Or if you put something in front of him that he might really care about,
Yeah.
will he be able to like focus in
That-
and lock
that-
in onto that?
And that's the problem with teachers. You can't always stick to the lesson plan. You know, you gotta. It's your job as an educator to keep the kid interested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So that's your job every night to go home and say, how am I gonna get Tommy to pay attention in class and participate
Yeah.
in class every day?
That's
you know
very
what I mean?
true.
So it's great that you get that paycheck. You know, nine for a year and only have to work 9 months. But it's also your job to completely do your job.
Yeah.
You know
It
what I
is the
mean?
future.
Exactly.
It is. It is the future. And I work in the school district, and I'm a teacher's aide, so I'm like right there with the teacher, helping the teacher do whatever
Okay.
they might need, and I can see how they might not really be invested into the kid. They might just be there for the paycheck or whatever.
yeah.
it might be. Not all cases. There are a lot of really good teachers.
Oh
out
yes,
there,
definitely.
But that's definitely a thing that happens, especially in the Wilkes-Barre area school district. But isn't that one of the reasons, like, or not? Actually, you take us through it. So, like, we grew up, we played mini football together, Mohawks, and then you were there in, like, 7th and 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
Too.
All the way up to
I
ninth
played
grade.
freshman ball.
Right.
Don't forget I won a championship.
Yeah.
Fort Myers?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
bro.
I
We
forgot
got
about
the
that.
It was our
Yeah.
team, right?
Yeah.
It was me, you. We had
Someone got
Anjay.
hurt. I'm not gonna say no names.
I did get hurt. Yeah, my gallbladder had came
Yup.
out.
Ah,
That's what
yeah,
happened, yeah.
I remember that.
Damn.
That's crazy.
So so take us through like what the deciding factor. Like I think you guys went to Lehman, right? That was the first place you guys went.
I went to Lehman before my 9th grade at Myers. I
Really?
came back to Myers to.
Oh,
so
okay.
I went to Lehman after 8th grade. I left Myers and went to Lehman, and something happened in Lehman that the coach's son was obviously favored more than I was.
Okay.
And I was supposed to go play varsity as ninth grade with Connor McGovern.
Yeah.
And my dad said I wasn't mentally ready. So
To play varsity?
Yeah, so I didn't do it. So they told him no. Then they benched me on the freshman team. And I was so invested in the school that I almost stopped playing football.
What you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
he wanted to quit football.
I wanted
just
to quit football.
stay at Lehman.
Yeah, because they benched me on the football team. So I was like, I like the school. I like what's going on here. I might as well do my schoolwork, get good grades, whatever. And then, my mom was like, yeah, no, that's not flying.
yeah. Australia wasn't having it.
Took me back to Myers. And that's when I played in the freshman year. And after the freshman year, I left and went to Berwick.
So why didn't you think he was mentally ready at that point in his life?
At that point in his life, he was a freshman. Well, he was coming into his freshman year, I should say.
Chase was always goofy as hell growing up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and
nice.
He was that was my biggest key right there. He was too nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
okay.
The whole time,
I'm not the same player now.
I was trying to get like that mean streak out of him, and I just couldn't get it out. So I felt that though he was big and I knew he was strong, so that wasn't the issue.
Right.
I think, like I said, mentally, I just don't think he was ready for it.
Okay.
But come to find out,
Yeah.
he was. You
Yeah.
know, because he played varsity as a sophomore.
And so then you went to Berwick.
Right.
So coming from you're from New York,
Mm-hmm.
and so you guys grew up kind of like with a city vibe, and you guys grew up in Wilkes-Barre. And back then, we know what was going on in Wilkes-Barre.
Right.
Do you think like you experienced a culture shock when you went to Lehman and you were up there in the country, and then when you guys went to Berwick, like was it hard to get acclimated to like the way those kids were living and stuff like that, or how did you go about that?
Going to Lehman, I've always been a quieter person when it comes to talking.
Yeah.
So going to Lehman was cool, like, and they were very welcome. I was real close with their best star.
Yeah.
So like they like all his friends and I worked out with his dad. So like everyone was welcoming. But going to Berwick, that was very different because they didn't accept me because I was an outsider. I had kids believe that who should start is who came through the program. I didn't come through the program. I came in and started. There's only two sophomores that Coach Curry played that my sophomore year, me and the quarterback. And a lot of people didn't like that. So they thought I was outside. They'd always try to pick fights, try to make me look like the bad guy.
Yeah.
So I could tell it was very different. I had to not cool down, but what that did was I kind of figured like if they're not gonna accept me for being nice, so I might as well just be myself. So I might as well. If they're not gonna accept me for being quiet, nice, and cool, I might as well bring out that dog.
Yeah.
And not worry about what they were saying. And then my junior year, I came out with a shirt I started wearing. I wore it to camps, games, practice, and it's on the back of it said, "I don't lose." They hated that.
Yeah.
So I wore it every day, and we would go to camps, and I would wear that shirt. And then my own teammates during the camp would try to go against me and beat me, just to prove a point.
Wow.
So when I started wearing that, it's like I'm gonna say they couldn't, not that they couldn't tell me nothing, but I already knew how good I was and where I was going. So it really didn't matter what they were saying anymore.
Yeah. So you had it in your head like you were confident enough to believe in your own abilities and stuff like that and go through the noise.
Yeah,
Yep.
The move to Berwick gave him, I think that spark I was trying to get out of him.
Okay.
The funny thing is like the first day we came there, we went down into the field room and Coach Curry was there and there was like a scout there, and I forget where.
University of Miami.
Yeah, from Miami, he was there, and he was there to see somebody else, and he walked into the room and the guy was like, "Coach, who's this guy?" And he was like, "Oh, he's just a sophomore that's just coming up into the program," and the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep in touch." He's like, he's gonna watch out for him, and then I think that's when he realized like he could do this, you know what I mean? Like he didn't even play a down of football yet for Berwick, and this guy's already like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye out for you,"
And that was
You know?
also in your mind, like,
It was just
for the reason why you guys went to Berwick, right? Because
Well-
you knew that there
well-
was more connections and opportunities to go to college there.
education wise too.
The
You know, you know at Myers,
Yeah.
like their teachers wasn't teaching us nothing. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't care if we failed. They didn't care nothing. And Berwick, they have a teacher day in every classroom, and it's not just to help the ADHD kids. It's to help all the kids. Like there's not one time I didn't have someone helping me. If I needed help, if I had a question,
Yeah.
they was always gonna be there answering it. Whatever it could be, whatever it was. Where's the bathroom?
Yeah.
Like, they was
That's nice.
they were gonna show me.
That's great. You almost don't see that ever these days, or at least you don't hear about it. So
Right.
that's great that you're saying that.
And another thing was, like, for me, I just wanted him to have a better opportunity, to move forward in what he wanted to do, you know.
Yeah.
So we made that move. And my wife was a graduate of Berwick High School, so it wasn't hard for us to make that move back.
Right.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah.
I think for me it was a culture shock for me though, because like you guys know, I ran that minis program and everything, and when I came up to Berwick, I got on the 6-man club. It's the boosters for the football program, and it was like, compared to Wilkes-Barre area, it was like night and day.
Better?
Yeah, it was
Right.
so much better.
Like,
Like we did fundraisers. Like we did like 2 fundraisers all year,
Yeah.
and
10 bands.
we raised like
Wow.
the first fundraiser we raised $10,000 in like 3 hours.
All we did was walk
Yeah.
door to door, and knock to see if they wanted to buy a ticket
Those-
with like
those-
a discount ticket.
It is those
Wow.
little
Yeah, I know what
cards.
you're talking about. Yeah.
So that
yeah,
was
yeah.
that was nothing. There was a lot of us, so we split up to like 3 people a group, take a couple streets,
Yeah.
2-3
Remember we
hours.
did that? Remember we did that with Mini Mohawks?
Yep.
Bro, me and Andre were in the bucket stealing the money every time.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I swear
Oh,
that's,
wow.
Okay.
that's really what it was.
But
But
no,
yeah,
I
it's like, go ahead.
no, go for it, man.
Well, like I said, it was like it was night and day, and it had like, not only did the community want to participate,
Right.
the parents, they were
Yeah.
there. Like
Yeah.
like seriously, we fed these kids probably like 3 to 4 nights a week.
Man.
Wow.
We give them clothes. They
honestly, the best thing I'm gonna say about Berwick is before they built the building where we eat every Thursday. We used to eat pasta every Thursday.
Yeah.
We used to do this thing where it was pasta, but it was at a friend's house.
Yeah.
So one of the teammates, one of the seniors would host it. So I'd been to 2 mansions on my football team. So that was pretty neat. And you got that also kind of welcomed me into
Yeah.
the football team, because going to those things, it was just players. Like, we were in the pool playing basketball, whatever we were doing, but it was just us. No coaches, no parents, no nothing. It was just us.
Yeah.
So that we did a little bit of bonding there. And I was always closer with the upperclassmen, seniors
Yeah.
and juniors. Like, they would always take me to practice and stuff like that. It was always the kids that were my grade that thought that I was taking something from them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially the kid that played my position.
Yeah, no
So-
doubt. I kind of could relate to that because I went to Valley West. I made a similar move, and you're going like around town, like in Berwick, or you're
Right.
in any of the little
Sorry to
boroughs
hear
of
that.
Valley West. There's always like, something sponsoring them in a window of a
Right.
mom and
Yeah.
pop shop or something like that. It's very like the community is very involved with like the local sports, especially football. So I can see what you're saying with that. But how did Coach Curry influence you, like going there? He's one of the most winningest coaches in PA history, high school.
yes.
So how was
The
his
winningest
word?
coach in Pennsylvania.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh shit.
Third in the nation.
Damn.
That's crazy. I mean, you notice just because I played against Berwick one time, and it was my 9th game of my senior season, and you could just
Wolfpack season.
yeah.
Bro.
I played 1 year for that WBA, the football team, the new
Okay.
experiment, and you could just tell like the environment of that stadium was different. I don't think I've ever really played at a stadium where it seemed like the people
college
of
stadium,
like
it's
the
packed.
community and the fans were as committed to you guys as they were. The only one that was like relatively close was Wyoming area, but they weren't even like that.
What do they got that horn every time you
Yeah,
guys
they
go?
No,
have-
the
they have-
fireworks
they
and
have a horn,
stuff.
They have a cannon.
Yeah.
What happens every time you guys like
Cannon.
stop a third down or something like that?
There's a
Oh,
horn
the
that's
siren?
on
Yeah, man.
the building.
That shit was in our heads. when
I
we were
noticed
down there, bro.
specifically
I swear.
the fireworks was wild. Like
Yeah.
standing there, like with the national anthem, and then I've never played at a football stadium where they shot off fireworks like that, and that was insane too. It was just like
wild, man.
The vibe of that place.
We always make a joke that if you're driving through Berwick on a Friday night at 7:00, you're not getting gas. The town is shut down. It's dark.
Yeah.
Game is packed.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
everyone's there
Like,
early too.
Yep.
Saving seats.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I was just going to say before he kind of touched on it. But I like how, like, certain cities and towns kind of turned into football towns, like, in that way. Like, Berwick really did seem like that.
Yep.
When we were driving through there, it was like every single house had, like, a Berwick Dogs, like, one of them things in their yard. You know what I mean? Or flags or something.
Yeah, they even have season seats tickets.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you can't sit in a certain section because they have season seats holders. Like, it's crazy.
I think that does something to the players, though. I really do. Like, it makes it more important, or like it gives you something more to play for. I think a lot of teams don't have that, like, why to keep fighting. But, like, in a community like that where everybody is loving you and backing you, I think it's a lot, at least, easier to, like, put on a great performance and not take it too hard on yourself.
And you know what?
I mean?
I totally agree with you, because for the simple fact that when we got there, I had went in Coach Curry's office and I saw his past teams. They weren't very big at all.
Yeah.
It was just the fact that he got them to believe in the system. You know what I mean? And these guys, like, if it was like a military serve thing, these guys would literally go out and die for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what it was. They wanted to perform for him.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, his teams weren't big at all. They weren't the fastest thing, but they played 4 downs of football, four periods of football.
Yeah. And a coach like that has to be given a lot of respect by his players. Like, you definitely see a lot of kids, like, talking back to coaches or cursing at coaches or storming off the field or doing this, that, and the third. I feel like it would be different in a place like that with a coach like that.
Don't get me wrong. People still, kids are kids.
Yeah.
So people are still gonna, like, talk back. He benched starters. Like, I remember my mom told me this story that when she was in high school, there was a big party going on. He was like, and he told him not to go.
Yeah.
And the whole starting team, offense, defense, went to that party. He benched them all in the playoff game, and they won. And they still won.
And that was the year I think it was 94.
They won a national championship.
When they won a national championship in the middle of the playoffs, and he benched everyone.
All 22.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that was on the documentary, wasn't it?
Yes,
Wasn't
it
that
was.
a story on the documentary about Coach Curry?
That takes balls as a coach, too, though, because a lot of coaches say that they'll do that, or you're not starting quarter one, you're not starting quarter two, you're not playing the whole game. But then, obviously, when push comes to shove, like, you need your good players, you're going to play your good players. A lot of coaches are like that. So for a coach to do something like that, too, I think.
Yeah, he stuck to his guns. I'll say this, too. While he played up in Berwick, I got sick, with heart problems.
Yeah.
And I missed a couple of his games. And I think Coach, like, he was making some mistakes in some of the games, in one of the games, and Coach took him, and told him, like, if you mess up again, you never play again. You never play past high school. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that, because that's the same kind of advice that I would have given him. He
told me, his exact words was, if I mess up another snap, because we were playing against Dallas at the time. At the time, they were the worst team in our conference, when they went 7-6. I snapped the ball over the quarterback's head 5 times in the red zone.
Oh, wow.
Just, I guess just not locked into the game.
Yeah.
So he took me out for a couple plays. It was like, get it together, whatever. Went back in. That next week in practice, I was still doing it. And he said, if you mess up another snap, I'm going to take my belt off, and you'll never play another down of football. And from that point forward, I wasn't going to mess up again.
What do you think that it was about him, though, that, like, instantly demanded your respect? Like, why was he such a unique person in that way? Like, why do you think he was so successful out of all the coaches here?
Honestly, he was one of those coaches that if, say Nick Saban walked into his office and was looking for a receiver. If he didn't have the receiver that he thinks that could play at Alabama, he's going to send him to the school that he thinks that has the receiver that could play at Alabama. Like, he's not he's not one of those players that will try to feed college coaches their players if their players are not ready to play. So that I well, coming to play for him, like I met that guy one time at a Coughlin versus Berwick game.
Who's that?
Coach Curry.
Okay.
When Berwick played Coughlin at Meyer Stadium, that's the first time I met him. And then after that, it was like there's something about the way he carried himself.
Like a charisma about him or
He
something.
he was just like
Like,
I'm a winner, and I'm gonna coach winners.
right.
And if you want to win, you're gonna listen.
Yeah, it's just that aura around him. He's not a very big man. Like towards in the end of his years, he was a small guy, like kind of hunched over.
Yeah.
Most of the time, he spoke with a megaphone because of his sickness he had. You couldn't really hear him.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's calling out plays in the game over the megaphone, so the other team's hearing the plays
in the conference championship.
and it didn't matter. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. And he was that hands-on coach, too, because I went to all the practices. And, if they weren't doing something right, he got down there and showed them the right way to do it. Didn't matter what position it was.
Any position, yeah.
So I think that a lot of coaches don't do that no more, you know.
I remember when he spent 30 minutes with me trying to show me how to snap the ball. He's 75 years old, getting down there and trying to show me how to snap the ball.
Wow.
Not a lot of head coaches are hands-on like that either.
Right.
They like to oversee the operation, but they're not going to be with one particular player snapping the ball. You know what I mean? You don't see that a lot anymore these days.
Well, he did have that too. He had the staff, and he did let the staff run it because he was more of a quarterback coach.
Yeah.
He had that camp too. He had the Curry quarterback camp.
Yeah, he did that every year, But like he said, when he saw a kid struggling, he went to that kid and said, "Hey, this is how it's done. This is how I want it done."
Another thing I liked was that I played for 3 high schools and many football teams, and I've always seen, and I played for 3 colleges now, and I've seen that the head coach, 9 out of 10 times, the head coach wants to be everything. Wants to be the offensive line coach, wants to be the running back coach, quarterback coach, whatever. He wants to do it all because at the end of the day, his name is on the win or lose bracket.
Yeah.
But the thing with Coach Curry is he brought in the best coaches at that position. Like my offensive line coach, Coach Mahaley, I still remember his name to this day. 6 years later, since he coached me, and he was probably the best offensive line coach, besides the one I just played for, that I've ever seen. And Curry let him do him. If the O-line messed up, he was punishing us, not the head coach.
Yeah.
So I like that he let his position guys take over their position, and he was focused on the quarterback. Now, when we went to team, if we made a mistake, then he would fix the mistake as a team.
Yeah.
But during the individual periods, it was all whoever position you was coaching, that's who was fixing the mistakes. He didn't care. He cared about being the best coach in Pennsylvania. He obviously cared about his winning and losing. But he was so confident in who he hired that it didn't matter.
How many football games did he win as a head coach?
455.
Oh, my God.
10 state titles and 6 national titles.
That guy from, where's that one school at? What's that other school that's down by, Ellisburg, I think? Southern Columbia.
Columbia.
That guy's climbing up, though, isn't he?
Boo.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna just leave it at this.
They're the best school in the area. When I graduated,
we know some inside stuff.
Oh
about
hell
that
yeah,
school,
man!
so
Come on, man.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna shout the program, but there's some things going on.
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
So
it makes sense. I mean, it's a small town school. That's what I always wondered about it. Like they're a two-way school,
well,
right?
they're 21.
Here's
21. Oh,
or they're juicing or something. That's what I was.
They're not juicing, but it's like I said again, I'm not gonna shout them out, but the conference they're in, it's pretty weak.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't believe if they came and played in the Wyoming Valley Conference, they would do that well.
What about, because my senior year they had that Julian Fleming who was ranked #1 as wide receiver in what was it, all of the country? It was 2. Oh really?
Camera right there.
Yeah, there's a camera.
I mean, whatever.
Oh well.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say. Well, then I'm gonna say this. It was like a man playing against boys.
Yeah. Well, it looked like that, man.
It did.
So
I mean,
he
was almost like a
Because
superhero on a
kid
team
from
like that.
what happened was a kid from their team came his what, junior year? His junior year.
Tegan Wilk.
Oh,
I was
Tegan
gonna say,
Wilk.
he
man,
played
that was like
there
my
too.
arch
So-
nemesis in high school.
Yeah, so he
Swear.
kind
He's
of
also
filled us
vet.
in on what was what there.
Okay.
You know
He's
what I mean?
also
So
vet.
Yeah. I was gonna say they had him too. He was the running back, right?
no, he's the safety.
Safety. Oh no, Tegan Wilk played for Berwick. I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
there was another kid that played at
Running back. He got
Southern
he
Columbia
got
my
an offer
senior
from
year.
Michigan.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forget his name though. He was pretty good as well.
Garcia.
Garcia.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and his
Play
brother.
linebacker.
His brother went to Gage went to Michigan,
Yeah, one went to Michigan. I forget where the other one.
and the other
went.
one went to Michigan State.
Yeah.
Maybe-
right?
Yeah,
Oh
I think
really?
so.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're both super fast, man. Super
I'm,
fast, super.
I'm
good.
gonna. I can say this. Even though those guys were very older, like I was 18 in my senior year, they were 20, 21.
That's crazy.
Even though they were so much older, I watched them go to college. You know,
Yeah.
I wanted to see what like I know I talk to Julian Fleming all the time. Like I wanted to see what he was gonna do, and he got himself a couple catches and got himself a couple yards. You know,
At Ohio State.
At
right?
Ohio State.
yeah,
Yeah.
playing against those bigger guys. But we play like when I was at Burr, we scrimmaged Southern Columbia, and we had that 7-on-7 we host every year.
How'd that go?
They didn't win.
Really?
Really?
They Tegan Wilk picked them up 5 times.
Yes.
Julian Fleming did have 1 catch.
That's crazy.
So that just makes me feel like if we would have played them 11-on-11, because our line was way better than their line. My offensive lineman my senior year averaged 285 in weight.
Damn.
Well, that's what I was saying though. Isn't Southern Columbia only a 2A school though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they would have been playing like Myers if they were in the conference.
I don't know if you
They
guys
played Wyoming area. Remember that? They came
Yeah.
down and played Wyoming area.
I
And
don't
they
know.
ran through Wyoming area.
Wyoming area is also 2A. They're a small
Right.
school as well.
I don't know if you guys know, but Berwick is not 4A. We
In terms of how many kids you guys got?
we our school is one story.
They play up.
Really?
We
because
play up because
They
the
didn't
talent
want us
of our
to call
team.
it.
I thought Berwick was 5A. That's what I thought.
So we played
Okay.
6A like
Yeah.
Valley West and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Because
Oh,
we played
alright.
Myers,
They would call us bullies.
Myers,
Yeah.
Danacokas, teams like that. It wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
It'd be no game to watch.
Yeah, because when I played for the WBA football team, I believe. I mean, I don't. Does it go to 6A?
Yeah, Valley West is 6A. I'm pretty
I
sure.
think. I
5A.
think
We were
Wyoming
5A.
or
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Like
WBA is 6A
Maybe
as well.
Williamsport, yeah.
So that's we would play like Williamsport. We would play Hazelton. We played Berwick. We
Southern
played
Lee, yeah.
all of those teams.
And that's because when you guys combined, you guys became a super school.
Yeah, well, because Coughlin was already 4A
you just had a
prior to
bad
us because they
coach.
already played Berwick.
Yep.
What do you guys think about that? That super school? Like, you think
I
in
was-
retrospect, would you have went there?
Yes,
If that was the opportunity?
100%,
Really?
100%.
I think so too.
Ever
bro.
since back when I was coaching minis, I've been pushing for that
Yeah.
because I saw all the talent in the minis
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
knew it was coming. You
Just,
know what I mean?
just
So-
for the Mohawks alone.
Right.
That's a unique perspective.
So if they would have did it and did it right, they would have been a powerhouse.
A lot of people are against
know?
the merger of that school.
What do you think about how it went, though? What do you
Perspective.
think about like the current situation of it, the school, the team, like how it went versus if they would have done it right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you think it went?
I don't think
What's
it
your
went
opinion on
well for the simple reason that it's costing a lot the school taxpayers, I should say, a lot more money.
Yeah.
You know, because of the location for one. You know,
Mm.
so now instead of just busing some of the kids, they have to bus all the kids.
Yeah.
You know, I think the program itself, like far as football, I think it would have been a lot more successful if they had pulled in the right coaches for it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Out-of-town coaches.
I thought the coaching was great. Well, I wouldn't say it was great. I liked
Coach Michaels is dope.
Coach Michaels was
yeah.
great and Coach Jackson was great. Just our offensive defensive coordinators.
Well,
they were
here's
really
my
great.
thing. We played Coughlin the year before that.
Yeah.
And Coughlin had 0 wins.
Yeah.
So how does that Coughlin coach become the head coach
At the
of
same-
a new football team?
I agree. I thought the same thing
Like,
at the time.
come on.
When I
Good
got to
point.
know
I-
Coach Cinti, I liked him a lot.
Right.
I didn't understand that
I
at
know
first.
him as a
either.
person.
Yeah.
As a person, you know what I mean. I just don't feel he was the right choice for the job.
Especially coming from Myers when we had I believe we won our first playoff game and then lost in the second round. Like
Right.
we did pretty good in that final
Right.
season as well.
You
But
did.
even as like for the Wolfpack, that's what I'll say. For what it was, we did do good because we lost in the conference finals.
Right.
So,
For the first team that just came together for the first year,
was
I think
great.
you guys did great. You know, like I was at that Berwick game when you
Yeah.
guys played. I think you guys
we got
did great.
we got smoked
I
that
think-
game.
Yeah, but I don't think it was because the talent was that much better.
Yeah.
I think it was because of the coaching.
I think
you know what I mean.
The program was
Yeah,
better. Berwick
right.
definitely had a better program, and we were just trying to figure it out. I think
Right.
if you gave that team like
A couple of more years.
or more
definitely.
time to work
Right.
together prior to the whole thing, I think it
Definitely,
could have been
definitely.
better.
If that, if that team would emerge when I was still young,
Yeah.
Right.
We'd
They
have
did
won four-
they
we'd
did
have
big
won
things.
4
They
national
definitely would have did big
championships.
things.
If we would have merged my first year of Myers football, I think we would have
Right.
I
we would
wasn't
have did
going
really well.
nowhere.
Yeah.
I swear. Yeah, I said
Seriously,
the same
like,
thing. I wish
yeah,
I got
I
to
mean,
experience it.
It would
I
have
didn't.
been.
Want- I didn't if
You
it-
could have played with us
if
still
it-
at that time
if
as
it-
well.
If it was
We
up
would
to
have never
me,
left.
If it was
Yeah.
up to
We
me,
never left.
I still would have played.
I
at
actually went
Myers,
to the.
kinda like, just growing up with the guys that played at Mini Mohawks. I still would have played there, winning, losing,
Yeah.
tying, whatever. I still would have played there. But
Exactly.
I don't regret
the
my
time,
decision. It's just
Dale Rapson was the head coach at Myers, and I went to him, after before his freshman year, and I told him what was going to happen, and I said, you got to change the program around. You got to do something to change the program around.
Yeah.
I said, because it's not fair to these kids. They play their heart out. They go through doubles. They sweat their butts off in the summertime. And for what, to finish not even under 500 every year? Like,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
you got to do better.
Let me ask you something. You seen that? I forget his name. He committed to ODU from the Wolfpack.
Raph. Yeah, I played with him.
Oh,
That
yeah.
would never have happened individual.
What do you mean?
Like
From Coughlin?
from Myers, Coughlin, and GR being separated,
Oh,
they don't get
okay.
that kind of
Yeah.
exposure. Now, when you bring that those 3 teams in the Valley together, they have no choice but to let go play Berwick,
Yeah.
Williamsport, which the scout might not be there for the Wolfpack, but they'll see them. They'll get exposure just because they're a bigger school. Now they're gonna be like, well,
Yeah.
where was this kid before? But they never seen him
Exactly.
because
There
it was
was a
such a
lot-
small school.
There was a lot
Good
more
point.
eyes on us due to the fact that it was
Right.
one school. And I like
was
for
a
what
new
it
school.
was for him, I think he balled out. I just think where
Yeah,
he
he-
lacked was size. That was his
Yeah.
only problem. You know what I mean?
He actually is at Duquesne now.
Oh, okay.
He switched. He went to the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Him and I know. I think Yuri did the same thing. Yuri Covington, different sport, but
Yeah.
he was at William and Mary, and I know he entered the portal, and I think he's playing at another school now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forget because I was just talking to his dad 2 days ago.
Yeah.
How exactly does that happen for you? Because you said you played at 3 different colleges now, right?
Yeah, so I will start when I was at LAC, I didn't play very much at like my first year. I redshirted. Second year, me and the offensive line coach bumped heads every day. Like I'll just tell you, even when I tore my ACL, he told me to stop making excuses and come to practice. So like me and him we always bumped heads.
Yeah.
I picked up University of Jacksonville, not Prime, the other Jacksonville. That's in Florida, and I picked up Valparaiso and a couple NEIA schools. Jacksonville ended up shutting down, unfortunately.
The school?
The football
Yeah,
team.
the
No,
football
the
program.
Oh,
football-
the
the
program.
football- After they offered me, they said they were giving their players too much money, so they shut them down.
Really?
Wow.
And then my offensive line coach got the offer from Valparaiso taken from me by saying that I'm not a good player in the locker room. So they didn't want to take a risk on a JUCO kid. So I was like, okay. Then I end up picking up an offer to go play NAIA ball. Not a lot of people are very educated on NAIA.
Yeah.
But it's not. All people know is Division I, Division II, Division III.
Yeah.
Like my NAIA team in Kansas are beating some Division IIs.
Yeah.
So I end up going to Kansas, a small town, just like Berwick, small, quiet, and my first year there, I sat the bench for 7 games. 7 games I sat the bench for.
Yeah.
I came to the coach. I'm like, listen, I know I'm better. I know I'm better than the guy in front of me. Give me a shot. Just give me a shot. I don't care how many plays I get. Just give me a shot. So he just said, okay. He ends up giving me a shot so me and him are playing every other drive.
Okay.
That's not as a lineman. That's not enough time to really feel your opponent.
Yeah.
It was good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up becoming all conference. I only played 3 games.
Wow.
I played all, not including the playoffs that we played in. Really, I think we played 1 playoff game or 2 playoff games. So I played 3-4 games, became all conference. The next year, the kid that I was gonna fight for that spot never came back. He said he didn't want to fight for the spot. He ended up going to Division 2. Never came back. So then they gave me the starting spot. Then I became first team all conference. And then my girlfriend got pregnant. I'm 20 hours from my home. He gets sick again. So I'm like, all right, I can't do this 20 hours. Love the coaching staff to this day. Love the players that's on the team.
Yeah.
I would stay if it was different circumstances. So I decided to enter the portal. I'm not gonna use the word portal because NAI doesn't have a portal. It's just you're transferring.
Yeah.
So when I decided to transfer, I picked up 17 offers in a week and a half. And some of these schools that are offering me would not even give me the time and day when I was at JUCO. Like,
Really?
left my DMs on open. So now when they texted me, I left their DMs on open. Like, like certain coaches, you know, that left me unopen, I didn't even save their numbers.
Yeah.
Like, it was just another contact in my phone.
Yeah.
Then I decided to go to Kentucky, and I only went to Kentucky because I felt that, one, it was only 6 hours away, and two, I felt that I was peaking at my athletic ability, but not my mental. Like, I know I could block somebody. That's never going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to learn, I wanted to get smarter at the game mentally, not bullying people. That's what I do. That's easy. So I wanted to learn stuff. I kind of find out that the offensive line coach at Kentucky Christian, he coached for the Bengals.
Wow.
So he came there. That's the only reason I went there. I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn from him. I learned if you put up a football game, I could tell you right now where the strong safety is, where the free safety is, where the Will is at, Sam.
Yeah.
Because they flip here and there, but I'll be able to tell you where the rush is, corner blitzing, all that kind of stuff. He taught me all that. So that's why I ended up going there. And then when he ended up leaving, there was really no need for me, you know, to stay there now. Because I came there to learn from one person. So I got my knowledge from that one person. Now it's time to go use that knowledge to play now. Now he got me in the weight room. They got me on a meal plan. I cut down 35 pounds.
Wow.
I was 330 at LAC in Kentucky.
Really? Oh my God.
330, and like I had muscle, but now you'll be able to see my muscle. Now I'm 295. I run a 5 flat 40.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you feel a lot faster? Like, do you feel like you can move? Like, you're
I
a
don't
lot
get-
more
I don't-
agile.
I don't get tired in games no
That's
more.
good.
Like I feel way lighter, able to move so much faster.
Yeah.
Able to do stuff that I couldn't do before. Like
Yeah.
I'm blocking safeties. Like I'm running down the
Yeah.
field and blocking safeties for touchdowns.
And after picking up all that knowledge, I mean, that must have like just made you a way better player overall. You know what I mean?
It made me a way better player, but I don't watch the Super Bowl no more. I don't watch NFL football games because
Really?
they're boring to me now. Because,
Really?
like before, when you were watching a football game, you're watching Julio Jones catch a pass.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley jump over somebody. When I'm watching a football game, I'm saying, okay, there's a strong safety. He's covering the tight end. That stuff is going through my head when I'm watching this now. It's just like I can't just watch the football game.
I see what you mean.
I'm analyzing it.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Kentucky, our film session was another college.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't see Le'Veon Bell run before. Like we watched O lines.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see the Raiders, Josh Jacobs run. Like I didn't. That's where our film session is. When he put me on the phone with the Bengals, the Ravens, the Giants, the Eagles. Like I didn't been on the phone with some of these scouts.
Yeah.
Because of this man. So that's the only reason I think I went to Kentucky, just to learn from him and get connected with him.
That's an interesting move too, because that's like, how far is that from here?
6 hours.
Oh wait, really?
It's not that bad. I didn't know
it's
that.
way better
yeah.
than Kansas. I was driving to school. I was driving 20 hours by myself to Kansas, and now I only had to drive 6.5. That's way better.
Yeah. So where does that leave you now? Like, what's your goal now in terms of football?
Right now, so with the transferring from my LAC and from my from Kansas, it kind of messed up my credit situation.
Okay.
So my college football eligibility is up. So I'm gonna be finishing college online.
Okay.
But I'm gonna do right now. I have an offer to go play in Canada.
Okay. That's dope.
CFL, right? That's what
He was
you're-
telling me
that's
about
what
that,
you're
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. So to be specific on what it is it's a 4-month contract for the junior CFL, right?
Okay.
I don't know if you're too familiar on that.
Not really. I
So-
know Gino plays in the CFL.
Okay, so so basically it's the 4-year contract because the league is from 17 to 21. I'm at 17 to 23. 17
Okay.
to 23 because I'm 22. So on my 23rd birthday is when my contract would be up. and by that time is when I'll be entering the draft for the CFL. So they put me on the junior thing to see, so I dominate my competition now, but they feel like I should dominate higher competition. So they got me. So basically, they're gonna change my citizenship to Canadian when I'm out there, because if I stay an American, I'll go 7th round. Like, I've already talked to the scouts.
How does that work?
Okay, like what?
Like, do they mean like as an American citizen that's worse for you in the draft?
Yes.
I would assume it'd be better.
No, because CFL can only have so many Americans on their team.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense.
The CFL draft.
Yes.
I got you. Okay.
So if they change my citizenship to Canadian, I'll
Yeah.
be a 1st-round pick.
Wow.
Instead of a 7th round, because now there's no like time frame on how many players they can have on their team.
That's
So
crazy.
now I'll be considered a Canadian.
That's really weird in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts to think about. I would have never guessed that that's how they would do it. Because I would always like America's like the mecca of football, so
Right.
like
I thought so
it's
too.
where the greatest talent would come from. I would
That's
feel
why
like.
they're limited.
Yeah,
to
that
how
does
many
make
people
sense.
they can have on
They
the
don't want-
team.
'cause if it was up to if they can have a team full of Americans, you don't think they would have a team full of Americans?
It would,
like
after that,
Germany
literally
or
what it would be.
Canada guys,
It would just be America running all the other countries in football.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So they're gonna get my citizenship. So I'll go from a 7th round to a 1st round,
Mm.
and that's cool. And even at this junior CFL, they got me on like what it's called a billet. So I get paid monthly to play over there.
That's cool.
I live for free with some 2 people that cook for me 3 times a day.
Wow.
And if I wanted to work at a job, let's say I wanted to work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
They pay $21 an hour, and they give me a signing bonus. A signing bonus just for just working at McDonald's.
Really? What, like your team does, or?
That
like-
McDonald's does.
Oh, okay.
They have
That's
like,
crazy.
they have like this contract with the team,
Yeah.
and they pay me. So I have to work 6-hour days,
Mm.
and they're gonna pay me for 8 hours because it's an hour away. So they're gonna pay me. They're gonna pick me up. They're gonna pay
Wow.
me for the hour they're picking me up, and the hour they're taking me home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you ask me, that's not a bad gig.
At least they take care of you in that regard while you're still doing what you love and getting paid to do that. But one thing I wanted to ask you to kind of transition away from football in a way is I've seen you've been making the merch that your dad's wearing over there. How's that going for you?
Pretty good. I'm actually looking to start back up with that. I had to take a break.
Yeah.
Having a kid and everything got a little busy. So I'm looking to start that back up within
Yeah.
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
That's always what I love hearing the most about athletes specifically is like what they plan on doing to transition like your name and likeness in football into the future. Because obviously, I mean, you can't play football until the day you die, you know what I mean? So like there's obviously going to come a point in time where you no longer play football. And like building all these like separate alleys while you have a better name for yourself, like while all these players and coaches and people on social media know you, it's way easier to transition to like all these things that you want to do, like side ventures and stuff. So I think it's great that you're starting that very early because like that'll probably be a big part of your future in terms of just your entrepreneurship and gaining that like the lifetime income for like you and your family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the clothing brand been pretty good. I was in Kansas when I thought about doing this. I woke up one day with my friend, and we were talking, doing whatever, talking, and we're like, bro, let's just start a clothing brand.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, let's do it. And he never, I don't know if he thought I was joking or he never wanted to do it. But I called my dad up one day. I was like, I think I'm going to start a clothing brand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get I got a nickname, Big Drip. I'm going to go ahead and put
Yeah,
Drip
It's
on
cool
the
too. You got to get me a shirt, bro.
Definitely,
I need a shirt.
Definitely.
Yeah, we completely forgot to mention it because that's what we do. Like, if you have
Right.
merch and stuff, you could bring. I mean, it's good that you're wearing one now to like represent it. You could tell them about it at the end, obviously. But yeah, that's dope, man. And you said like in the next 2 to 3 weeks, you want to like give it another go.
Yeah, not another go. Just get more inventory. Like
Okay.
I never stopped it. I just haven't ordered new. So
Now, are you all in person or are you online sales? Like, are you selling things online?
I'm actually right now. I'm more of a like a over the phone. Like you text me on. I have a social media page and all that kind of stuff, and I'm working on a website right now. But I want to
Okay.
make sure it looks perfect before
Yeah.
I let it out there.
I get that. We're in the same boat right now. We got to get a website made for this podcast, actually. But yeah, all that stuff's like really fun to me, man. I love the idea of all that stuff because there's so many different like things that I'm interested in and like different avenues you could take all of those things.
Right.
And you could turn that into a lot of money, man, and a great career. And that's like what I want to do. Like,
Right now, I'm just working with shirts. In the wintertime when I started it, I was working with hoodies. But I mean, I'm coming out with sweatpants, socks, even shoes. Like I can put that logo on shoes, hats, girls leggings, girls, stuff like that. Like,
it's sick, man.
I done had females come up and ask me like, "Oh, can you put the drip on the butt, a leg, or something, whatever you
that's
want."
That's funny. Yeah,
that's tough.
We also want to transition to merch in that way as well. Soon we'll be coming out with a lot of go-getters merch, like the flags and stuff right there. We'll be having those
Copper
like
flag.
for the public soon and stuff to hang up and whatnot.
Copper flag.
Yeah, but
$10.
There you go.
that's gonna be coming soon. But like I said, though, I think it's a great like building these side like avenues of income rather than just working or just focusing on your passion. Because for a lot of people's passions, when you're starting, it doesn't pay right away. It takes a very long time to make a good living off your dream and what you do. Like we probably won't get paid a livable wage off doing this for a long time. You know what I mean? So you have to have these other like avenues and like side streams of income coming in at all times. And doing something like that, I think, is a great way to do it, especially in today's day and age. How easy it is, social media, all the people you know, all the schools you've been to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fact. You have like a large community of people that you're connected with.
That plays a big part in that getting my clothes out there. Because like when I first started at Kentucky, my dad was mailing my stuff out. Yeah, and like a lot of my teammates, coaches, everyone was buying my stuff there. Went to Kentucky, they're doing the same there. Like I had people from LAC hit DMing me. Yeah, like I know, especially having one social media this whole time. When you make friends, I'm making friends from 3 different high schools, 3 different colleges, like
everywhere.
I got a lot of people interested, and then a lot of my family's very supportive with my clothing brand.
That's great for you, man. Like at that point, you could just honestly pull the trigger whenever you want. If you got people that are willing to eat it up for you like that, then I think that would be a great avenue for you. Like what in terms of media, like do you like doing any of that stuff at all? Do you like or would you like to have an online presence at all in the future or anything like that?
I would like to get it online. It'd be a lot less stressful for myself trying to get all this stuff together. But I'm not very social media savvy. Like I'm not good with technology and stuff like that.
I wasn't really either at first. I always liked playing video games. I know you were similar and like doing things like that and like watching YouTube and like all that kind of entertainment, and it kind of put me on this path to begin with. I wasn't good with technology or anything at the beginning either, or social media. I honestly hated social media when I was younger. But now, like, I learned that it's definitely it's a great platform to get whatever you're trying to do out there. That's mainly what I use it for now. Like, I don't really just go scroll on social media anymore these days. If I'm on social media, I'm posting something podcast related, or I'm just posting something like my day related if I'm out somewhere. That's really all I use it for. I think that's the best thing to use it for. All them people that like I said, you could turn that into, you see a lot of athletes doing that these days. Like, there's so many NFL stars and NBA stars that have YouTube channels on the side or podcasts. Like, that's a big thing nowadays. And I don't know, it's great for a lot of those players because you're almost like you're doubling your streams of income. You can make a lot of money in the entertainment industry, man.
Football is entertainment.
Yeah.
That's right.
A lot of people are smart. Like, you see like the Conor McGregors or like the Tom Brady's, and you see they know how to captivate people in other ways. You know what I'm saying? They have their own little brands.
Right.
They have like restaurants that they're investing in. They have a whole ton of like pillars that pay them money so that when that stream stops, they got 7 other streams that keep them at the 1%.
This day and age, popularity pays the bills.
Yeah, man. It's a legit currency.
I like this little setup you got. Like, I always told my son, everybody needs a hustle, and this is it. This is your hustle, like. Hopefully it'll pay off, to where you want it to pay off, But until then, this is your hustle. This is your baby. You know what I mean? You nurture it. Yeah, and
no doubt.
Hopefully it takes off.
It's so healthy for an individual too to find something to keep their mind creative. I think a lot of people don't have that.
What's going on in the world today?
No doubt.
Like kind of like I was just saying before, a lot of people do just sit on like social media, TikTok, and just scroll all day. You know what I mean? While they're not like actively dedicating their mind to something bigger, like. Every day, it's a new step, a new problem we face here that we have to overcome. So creatively, every day, that part of our mind is open to like these experiences. Right. We're getting better every day. So I think anybody can apply just that to like what they do every day. But my fault. You were gonna say something before.
I think that it's cool that y'all doing this. Get some kind of hustle. You know, when people think of the word hustle, it's a bad word. It comes with bad stuff.
Yeah.
But I've been hustling since I was 10, 9. Like, you know, at the park selling Gatorades and waters. Like, that's where I just want to be able to have something of my own.
Yeah.
Something to call mine that someone didn't give me. That's mainly my goal with the clothes. Just trying to, like, that's my name on it. That's my logo.
Yeah. And I like how you said, too, there's, like, a weird stigma on the word hustle, but I think that's as good as it gets. Like, you selling Gatorade at the park, like, when you're young, like, finding a way to, like, make money and, like, starting at a young age and just having that, like, that idea in your mind. Like, I think that's better than anything.
Right.
So the fact that it does have that weird stigma on it is weird to me. Like, selling lunch tickets in school in Kistler, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Listen,
The red hot ticket.
yeah,
this day and
hot
age,
lunch.
I mean,
I do that. You do that in college too when they give you little special meals.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That's like, it's big though. Like that, especially to a kid. Like when I see a kid, like a lemonade stand, like when you see a kid with a lemonade
Right.
stand, like that really like it. I don't know, it just makes me feel happy. Like when I'm driving down like a street or something, and I see a kid with a lemonade stand.
mean,
It's a
think
great
about
thing
it.
to see.
No, honestly, when I see like I have stopped and bought, like when I was in Kansas and I see people with lemonade stands.
Yeah,
I've stopped and asked them, you know, how much was for the whole table.
yeah,
They tell me the price and I give them the money and I'm like, what am I gonna do with all that lemonade?
yeah. Just keep selling it.
You just keep going just to basically like let them know like it might start small, but you know it's gonna get some if you keep your mind to it. That's
Yeah.
why I like
Yeah,
go
man.
getters. Like that's what it's about. That's what hustling is about.
Yeah.
Going,
Nah,
going
you know
to
what would
get
be
it.
cool, bro? You know Mark Lewinsky, right? Mark Lewinsky has a camp out here. He's playing right now for. He just signed to the New York Giants.
okay.
Oh,
Right.
He played for the Colts.
He
Yeah,
played for GAR.
I know
He
you're
played
talking
for the
about.
Colts, and
I know
now
you're
he's
talking
signed to the New York Giants. I actually know my uncle's best friend. That's his sister. So we're trying to get him on the podcast.
Okay.
That'd be super cool, right?
Yeah.
But no, he does a camp out here every year, like a lineman camp. Kevin went to it,
Yeah.
and it's really cool. He does it every year. He's always connecting with the community. I think that's something that you would like, man.
It's actually funny you say that because I was just in Berwick when I first got back from school talking to my head coach about
Yeah.
hosting one at
That'd be cool.
up in Berwick.
that is really
Yeah,
cool.
it could be a community thing.
Yeah, definitely. Just
Free
'cause I-
T-shirts and
'cause I was
stuff.
talking to my Connor. You know, I'm close to Connor, but I actually met a couple. I don't know if you ever heard of Steve McLaurin. He was a D
no.
lineman. He's a D lineman for the Jets for 12 years. Won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady just past one he just won, and he was even talking about giving Tom Brady one of my shirts, buying my shirt and giving it to Tom Brady.
That's cool.
That's
man.
sick.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like
Tom
know,
Brady
like-
rocking the big drip on the interview.
you
It kinda-
ever heard of Bryce Thompson?
Yeah.
Receiver?
Yeah.
Talk to him all the time on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Those
just-
connections you build out football too. That's kind of what I was touching on before. Is like that was big for us. Like in terms of all the the football connections we have, it's helped us out a lot with this whole podcast so far. So I think that'd be another thing you could turn that into as well. Like just all those great connections you have. Like just like you're saying, a guy is willing to give Tom Brady one of your shirts, or if that's even, I don't even know how that would work. You know what I mean? But that's cool that somebody would be willing to do that for you. The connections and the people we've met around here have been helping us out big time.
Yeah,
Just
that's a
like in
big
terms
part
of
this.
meeting new people. Yeah.
Big part is like not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly.
A lot of the
Right.
times.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's
it's
it.
It's not about anymore. I've seen ball players that are not very talented, but because of who their name was or who they know,
Yeah.
they got their foot in the door.
Mm.
It doesn't matter about how. In a way, it matters about how hard you work, but at the end of the day, it's if you have connections, you're already in the door.
Yeah.
That's where
You almost
it's gonna
need
start.
both because
Yeah.
if you have connections, you can't do anything without the ability to like put the time and effort and the hard work in.
Mm-hmm.
But if you own, like, there's a lot of people that put the hard work and effort in, have no connections, and they never make it anywhere.
None.
So it's definitely it's a good mix to have both. I think you're more or less. It's definitely more beneficial for you to have both for sure.
No doubt. So yo, Chase, what's it like being a father, man? What's that like? And another, I want you to tie this into like, how do you think the game of football has shaped you into, like, being a man? One, and do you think that that's contributed to your style of being a father?
Well, I'm gonna start with this. Being a dad has changed the way I look at things, the way different, and the way I act. Cause like my dad was saying earlier, I used to be a nice guy, like a real gentle. I used to be real nice. I went to LAC, all that was gone. I became like, I'm not gonna say like a douchebag, but like I carried a swag, like I couldn't be beat, and I carried that off the field too. Like I became, I'm gonna say a hothead. I became a hothead. Like I believe that no one could tell me nothing.
Yeah.
So now having a daughter, you can't go around doing that, because now anymore, especially where we live, they'll shoot me, my daughter will be without a father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't. You gotta. It definitely opened my eyes to a lot of things, and honestly, I love being a dad. I love it.
That's great. How long have you been a father for?
She just turned 5 months on the 8th, 2 days ago.
Wow, man.
So it hasn't been that long, but man, it's felt like forever.
Yeah.
Because when she was first born, I came into town, but then I had to go back to school. So now I'm just really now being here, and honestly, I mean, I love it. And even playing football, it's like, wow, just lost it all. Just lost everything I was thinking about.
Nah, I get what you're saying. Like, it almost feels like football doesn't compare, like, passionate-wise, like, what it feels like to be a father. Is that what you were getting at?
Yes. Yeah, basically, like, when I was playing football before, I was playing because I like it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm playing because not only because I have to and because I have a family. I have a family, but now I actually have my own family. So now I have my own family on top of my family. Now I have people to take care of.
Yeah.
So now when I'm looking at players, and I've seen so many players that, especially in my last school, I see so many players just come and play because they can.
Yeah.
Because their mommy and daddy can afford for them to go to school.
Yeah.
Now I'm playing because I don't have another choice. Like, I don't want to. Like, there's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's just not. I just don't see myself doing that
I agree.
personally.
And we always talk as football players too about like finding a why. I feel like specifically in football, like finding that why to like keep going is like it's always spoken throughout. I feel like all programs and like all teams and everything. And you absolutely have a why now. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have that.
To speak on that, he wanted to stop playing football for a while.
Yeah.
And I think it happened when he was at the LAC because, again, he was bumping heads with his, his coach.
Players, I'm 6'. I might have been 6'3", 300, but I was the smallest lineman on my
he was small compared to those guys he was playing against. And, I mean, those, like, I'll shout outs to Lackawanna because they helped him. You know, they gave him that swag he needed for this sport. That for some reason I just couldn't get out of him, you know. And they gave him that though.
They gave me that.
But he wanted to stop playing, you know, because he just felt it wasn't going the way he wanted to go, you know. And his excuse then was he wanted to do it because his mom wanted him to play football, you know. And I kept telling him that's not the reason why you play football. You play because you want to play, because you want to succeed. You know, like it wasn't his job to take care of his mother. You know, it was mine. You know, but now he has that, you know, that inner feeling that you know, and now he has his own. So
is that what you felt like at the time? Like there was a time in that football experience at Lackawanna where you almost didn't love it no more.
I felt like when people say they play football because they love it. You ever hear about those NFL players that are playing football because of the check?
Yeah.
That's what I was playing football for.
Really?
I was getting a little check from Lackawanna. I was playing not because I loved the sport, but because it was taking care of what I needed to take care of.
It was almost like a job at that point. Is that still how you feel, or are you more or less?
No, I mean, after that incident, and I got my head straight, and I actually I tore my ACL after that. So it took a little bit mentally for me to get back on the field. And then once I got back on the field, I started playing it because I love playing football. I've been playing since I was 6.
Yeah.
I got that back in my head. But now having a daughter, I have to buy formula, diapers. That's not cheap.
Yeah.
I have no choice but to make it. And so I keep that. every time I go into a game, I say a little prayer every
Yeah.
time. This is get me through the game. No injuries. That's all I ask for.
Wow, man.
Burn the boats. You can't look back now. It's like,
Yeah, now like you gotta be all in.
Gotta be.
I
There's no other
always
choice.
think about that, man, because I mean I'm not a father, and this is like really all I have. So I have all the time in the world to give my all into this. I can only imagine what it would be like if I was a father as well. You know what I mean? While I think it would help, it has to damper it in a way too, because it takes obviously a lot of your free time away from you.
yeah, that comes with a lot, man.
Yeah.
It
does.
has to come
It
with a lot.
does.
Very-
It definitely
Very
does.
tiring.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you as a grandfather? Like Chase calls you and says, "Yo, Dad." Like, what was that like? Were you angry at first? Were you excited?
Actually, I wasn't angry at all. I was kind of a little depressed, you know, being a grandfather.
Yeah.
But I think it helped me because, you know, a couple of months before that, my wife passed, you know,
Yeah.
and it was like I was just, you know, like giving up on life. You know what I mean? Like I was getting sicker at you know, by the week. It got to the point where sometimes I wasn't even like getting out of bed,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then when he came home, you know, and he told me about it, that they were having a baby and everything. It kind of motivated me, you know.
Yeah,
now I got to do better.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to get back on the right track. Like July now. I can honestly say back in like December, I was pushing 410.
Yeah.
You know, I was up to 410 pounds. You know what I mean?
280.
Yeah, and now I'm like 280.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it really that really helped me.
Yeah.
You know, it kickstarted me again. You
It
know?
gave you a why as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's
loving
beautiful,
it.
man. That's very,
Right,
very
right.
beautiful.
I'm loving it. You know, like
You know, I named my daughter after my mom.
Really.
Wow.
yep. So now, you know, like I said, I got something to live for. You know,
Yeah.
and it helps. You know, I was living for them. You know, I wasn't living for them, but you know, it was my job to take care of them, and I did
Yeah.
that. And they're grown men now, so now you know I got something else to.
Hell yeah,
Work
man.
for you,
That's a
you
beautiful
know?
thing. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful way to
So,
look at
yes,
it too.
Definitely, it is. You
It's
know?
very great. And I know we used to go to church together.
right.
And I don't know how deep into the spirit realm you guys live, but maybe that's just another manifestation of Mrs. Struther coming back in
Yeah.
a way.
Life
you
coming
know what I
full
mean?
circle.
Honestly, it's actually crazy you say that because
She's probably loud as hell, right? That little baby probably with the kettlebell.
Banging the cowbell and
Yeah,
shit.
crazy, right?
It's crazy you say that because one time I went to Atlantic City, it was like a weekend before I go back to school. I'm on the boardwalk with my aunt. You know, we're drinking whatever. And I'm like, I think I want to try one of these girls that read your palms.
Oh, like one of them
Oh,
little
the tarot
psychics.
readers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is before my girlfriend was pregnant, any of that. So okay. So I go to read. She read my palms. She says, "You have knee pain. Have you ever had knee surgery?" I said, "Yeah, I did." Okay. And then she was like, "Are you in a relationship?" "Yeah, I am." She was like, she's like in 6 months. 6 months was like February-ish. She was like, "You're gonna have a blessing." I'm like, You know what that could be? She said, "I'm not too sure yet." So I was thinking about getting an abortion with the kid, and I was like, Dad, what if it's a girl, and the blessing is the girl, and then I named her Melissa. So we decided to stick it out, and it was a girl.
Wow.
Melissa Rose.
And it came into fruition, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, man. God damn.
She got me wrapped around her finger.
Life moves
Yeah.
in mysterious ways, man. That's crazy how that works.
It is, man.
I don't think we'll ever understand it though. I don't think I will. I'll never understand how that happens.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. You know, it's. I could say this, you know, from a person going back, you know, 22 years, I was one that, you know, I always said to myself, I'm never having kids, you know, because they always say, you know, karma comes back at you, and I was bad.
Yeah.
You know, as a kid, I
remember hearing your
I
stories.
was bad. Yeah, I was horrible. So I was like, yeah, I don't want no kids.
That's an understatement.
But you know what? Like fatherhood is something different. Like it's an experience
Yeah.
that it's just something you need to experience. Like you know, there's like a lot of kids out there who don't know their father, which in my perspective, I couldn't imagine not being there for my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, though they were bad, but like watching them grow, it was just like nothing you ever experienced before. You know what I mean? Seeing all they could do. Like, the funny thing, I played semi-pro football, and when I was playing, he was about, I think, maybe 3 or 4, and at that age, I realized this was going to be my football player. You know, I had my equipment by the door. I had a game that day. He put on my helmet, you know, and he ran full speed into the front door, which was a steel door, you know, with his head. Boom. He hit the door, fell on his butt, you know, shook it off, and did it again.
Oh, wow.
You know? So I told my wife, that's our football player right there, you know? And 22 years later, here he is. So
it's almost weird how football does that too. Like, it seems like football was always a part of your guys' like family.
Always.
It has.
That's one weird thing about sports, man. I think a lot of people have that too. I didn't necessarily have that. Like, my family wasn't big into football, but I definitely felt that community with like my friends for sure. Like, the friends that we played football with, we always carried that. Like the football, like playing football was always a part of like what brought us together, I guess, initially. So it's cool how that works out too, man.
Well, I mean, you know, it builds relationships, you know, it builds friendships, bonds that last forever, you know. Like, again, 20 years I've played, and I've got guys that, you know, I call my brother now, you know, because that's how close we became, you know. It's great. It's crazy. It's like we called it going to war on football nights, you know. That's what it was for us. We were going to war against the other team, you know. And you shed blood together, and, you know, you win together, you lose together, and you just form that bond that's like just forever lasting, you know.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things, man, because you can find that in a lot of things. I've heard like war stories from like people that have been in the military, and they talk about like that, like really tight knit bond you get with the people you're fighting with, and it's almost like that's bigger than like even relationships with like your family or friends or anything, because it's so much deeper than just like living normal life. Like you said, it's like you're going to war with these people every day. And while football is like, it's obviously minimized, it's not actual war, but you guys definitely, like, you're sweating together all day, you're bleeding together all day, you're getting surgery with each other, you're
Sometimes
going through rehab, crying, losing games together. You go through everything.
Ups and downs, peaks and valleys, man.
Exactly.
I think it's that mutual suffering that you go through.
Definitely.
And like, you get to share that together, and that in turn becomes something special. Like, most of the people we did podcasts with so far, we were tied to through football in some way.
Okay.
So, like, I just think you definitely build really tight-knit relationships through these things that, like, bring a lot of emotion and passion out of each other and, like, the people around you.
It's crazy to think that one sport can make, like, all my friends I know because of football.
Yeah.
There's, like, none of my friends don't play football. Like, you know, like, and it's not even, like, I don't even got to stay in contact with the same person for a couple years, and you know if you hit that person up, they're still going to answer the phone.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't played football with Darian, what was going on, 6 years, 7 years. Oh, really almost
played
10.
against each other, though.
Longer than that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember you played against each other?
Of course I remember.
I think it's 1-1, though, right? Did we play? Did you play against me when we played at Valley West at home?
I didn't play.
You didn't play?
I just had to miss that game.
Oh, damn. See, we beat them that game. We beat them that game.
He sent me to bench 2 games that season.
Damn, and no, that was the game. Damn.
But the game I did play,
it was a bad night for the kids, man. It was a bad night.
You guys lost?
Yeah, we did lose.
did he?
But yo,
is it bad?
I'm not even going to get into that, bro. I'm not even start talking crazy because
44-22.
Oh,
he remembers the score and everything. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, that is nuts. Berwick and Valley West were the big rivals at the time,
bro,
though, right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, but you remember that fade route, though, right? In the end zone? Bang, bang.
That's when you was on the news, right? They put you on the news or some shit?
Yeah. I don't know, something like that. But me and Wilk, man, me and that kid were beefing all game. And Berwick is the real deal, man. Like, when I was catching punch, they were yelling at me and from behind in my head, like, rent free. And
he said rent free.
And we were down. It was like the last kickoff of the game. Berwick just scored. caught a kick, and I was trying to dance, trying to make a play to put us in a spot at the end of the game, and Wilk tackled me, put me to the ground, right? But I didn't like the fashion that it was done, so I was emotional, and I grabbed Wilk and I threw him. And, bro, I was getting death threats on Facebook.
Really?
I swear to God, from people from Berwick. I swear to God.
No, you probably were. There was these.
I'm dead serious.
I believe you. There was these two guys that used to be on our field, and on Halloween, one of them put a noose around their neck and dressed up as a referee.
Damn.
Yeah.
And said this is what happens if you make bad calls.
Oh wow.
We had a game on Halloween.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
He's the guy who controls the siren.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Mark
Wow.
Stadium, my man.
I mean, yeah, man, the vibe of that place is so
they are
extreme.
crazy. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like
When you play Berwick, you're not just playing against 11.
yeah, you play
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
the whole town.
It's like the Seattle Seahawks of NEPA.
Yeah, like a 12th man. No, it really did feel like
That's what
that.
the Booster Club was called, the 12th man.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
nuts.
Makes sense.
And it's like again, going back to it, it's just the things that they did for these kids.
Yeah.
Like they said, it takes a village to raise a kid. You know what I mean? And that was it. Like like I said, with the food, the clothes. At the end of the year, like whatever money was left over, we gave to the seniors for scholarship money or whatever. You know, like
The guy that makes the wetsuit shirts I used to wear, who made my stuff.
yeah,
Oh, really?
like, yeah,
That's how it went down.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
damn.
came to him and was like, I'm trying to start clothing brand. He said, okay.
like it was just ridiculous. Like
Damn.
the amount of time people would put in to help out with the program.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that's so important for so many teams and communities that they don't even realize it.
Mhm.
I mean, it's the best way to get in touch with the kids. Like,
Right.
what better way to have a community where all the kids feel safe and welcomed and like wanted than to like support them and doing the sport that they love and really being there in the community.
But it's also super beneficial for the human, though. Like, think about
Oh yeah.
like what football does to your character.
Mm.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, if you're playing football for an extended period of time, like you have no choice but to be a disciplined person.
Yeah.
Right.
Show up on time. You know, respect the authority figures, the coaches, all that type of stuff.
How to work as a team, how to work as a
Right.
community, a unit, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? A lot of us carry those things that like we've learned at a very young age through football in the life today. I know at least I do. Like a lot of those personality traits definitely get sculpted while you're younger and
No
like
doubt.
playing these sports.
think
you know
about
what
it,
I
like-
mean? Any sport.
From football, you understand, like, okay, I have to put in this type of work so that I can get these type of results when game time comes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that exact concept can be applied to anything. It could be
Right.
applied to a clothing brand. Like, all right, I want to start a badass clothing brand. Let me put in all this work so that it's inevitable that I make, a bunch of bread and,
Right.
it goes well. With anything, I want to, start a cooking show.
Right.
Yeah.
I got to put in this type of work so that I can have the best cooking show.
And another thing,
Same thing.
Another thing I like about the whole sport of football as a whole is like going to college. You'll meet people that will say like, "Oh yeah, man, I can do this, and I can do that." Like, okay, let's see. They can't do it, but now football, and when you're playing football, if you say, "Oh, I can go ahead and block this guy," well, we have practice tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Like now, and you'll know if you are grinding, put in
Mhm.
that work,
Yeah.
get them extra workouts you say you were doing on Snapchat.
Yeah,
We'll see-
right.
Yeah.
we'll see- not just a bottle of water with a Snapchat.
What's funny to me, bro, is they'll put me and Lydia were talking about this. They'll put a picture on Snap working in silence, and you'll post it to everybody.
It's not
Yeah.
working in silence.
Working in
Everyone knows
silence,
that.
staying low key.
Yeah.
What you mean? You got 100 people on your Snapchat? You
Yeah.
showing everybody you got on Snapchat,
100 plus for real.
right? I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, a lot of people just do the talking for social media and actually don't put in a lot of work at all behind the scenes. I think that, like you're saying, though, it definitely comes to light. Like, if you actually have to apply what you think you know against somebody who really knows, like me and him were just discussing about this yesterday, there's levels to everything.
Yeah, man.
And how good you think you are right now, there is always going to be somebody better than you. There's no matter who you are. That's what keeps everybody working. You know what I mean? And you can't just hide behind that Snapchat screen all day. Like, oh, I'm better than you. You cannot when it comes time to like actually put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
I
A lot
remember,
of people don't realize that.
I remember the first time I came to Kansas. This is right after Lackawanna. First semester I came to Kansas. I'm out doing we first get here. They're doing like 7-on-7, just messing around, no coaches.
Yeah.
And I'm doing. I'm a big guy. I want to do 7-on-7.
Hop in the
Who
tight
that?
end.
Feel me? Who-
Uh-oh.
That's every big man's dream, bro.
I'm at the
Dream.
I'm at the
Every
X
big
receiver. What
man's
you talking
dream.
about? And so, but a couple of D linemen show up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's get 1-on-1s over here." I'm like, "I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm doing these 7-on-7." They're like, "Oh, so you can't play your position? So they brought you here for no reason? What are we talking? Just talking."
Yeah.
I'm like, "All right, bro, come on." So I'm like, "This is my first kick step since surgery."
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, my feet not the best, but my hands are gonna hurt you. He's like, all right, we'll see. He's like 280. So I'm okay, do my kick step, hit him in the chest, he falls to the ground. No pads on the straight, just drops. And he's like, oh nah, we're good. I'm like, that's the stuff like that. Like he called me out, said I wasn't working because I didn't want to do a drill with him.
Yeah.
And then I came and did a drill, but I didn't have to talk about it. I didn't have to be like, man, I've been working, I've been doing all this, that, and the other. Like, I've seen kids say, oh, I'm working, and then get beat by the worst lineman on our team.
Yeah.
Like that don't. 1 + 1 is 2, not 3.
Yeah. Right.
Don't make no sense to
Don't
me.
add up, man.
On the other side of it, though, it's great for somebody like that too, because I think you need to lose and get humbled. I think people that never leave their like
I've been there,
hometown deal with the
unfortunately.
same competition.
Bro, trust.
You know,
No,
people
I've
deal with
been
the same
I've been done
competition
bad.
for a few years. You think you're the greatest, but you're only in your area. Like especially somebody like you went to a few high schools, a few colleges. You've definitely learned that while you might have been the best here, you might not be the best there. You know what I mean? That happens for a lot of people. You got to realize that.
I could tell you that I could be 100% tell you that I have yet to meet my match in college.
Really?
Since Lackawanna. Because I'm going to tell you that I got done so bad at Lackawanna one time that I refuse to ever lose again. Ever. Like
Where'd that guy end up?
I-
Where's he at now?
He just got drafted to the Jets.
Oh, he's at the Jet.
But on my defense, I started the war.
Okay.
First day at camp, I pancaked him.
Okay.
And then me and him were beefing. He was the number 1 D tackle in the country, and he was committed to Tennessee. So I decided that I was gonna post the pancake
Oh,
at
man.
Tennessee.
Damn.
So the next day in practice, we're going again. We do 1-on-1s, but we do 2 reps in a row. So we go the first time, we stalemate. All the D linemen's gassing like, "Oh, you finna let Drip pancake you again?" I'm like, "Come on, bro. Like, relax." It was one time. when I tell you, this kid is 315, 6'4", with no fat.
Oh my god.
Oh man, one of those. huh?
Francis Ngannou.
Where's he from? Where's he from?
Maryland.
Okay.
Okay.
He picked me up off the ground on a bull rush. I'm talking about. They're talking about, why do you just drop? Drop with what? My feet were in the air.
Yeah, his feet stank.
Like I'm talking. He took me like 10, 15
And that's a
yards back
big
and just-
fall. That's like
boom.
1,000-pound
and just dropped
ground collision.
and just dropped me. He didn't fall on me. He just
Yeah.
let me go.
Oh, okay.
I fell on my back. He was like, "Yeah, don't do all that posting." I'm like, "That's a bet."
And I loved it, because one, it humbled him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nah.
all through high school,
I don't lose
no
shirt
one-
when the garbage.
Oh damn.
Because like all through high school, no one could do it.
Yeah.
Even in minis, like he's never been hit.
Yeah.
To where he could say, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
like, well, that one time,
I've been hit by Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler played
Tyler
with you.
Williams.
yeah,
That boy hit me once.
except him. Like,
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I played at Lehman when we scrimmaged Valley West.
Yeah.
And he blitzed while I was playing center.
Did we scrimmage you guys?
I don't know. Were you playing on the same year as him?
Nah.
that was
He was a
ninth
year.
grade.
He was a year above me. Then when I came up, he didn't play anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9th grade, I scrimmaged him, and he blitzed. That's when he cracks his helmet in half.
Oh man. That
Oh
boy
my
was
god, his
different.
whole helmet?
Yeah.
Jesus.
That boy. That's
He
why I
was
was surprised that he dropped
That's
off.
insane.
I was
He
surprised
was-
Yeah.
He's
It's
Surprised
weird.
He dropped off out of nowhere. Like he was a dog.
I mean, that happens to
Super
people
dog.
like life. I
Yeah.
mean, like you had a pretty crazy life after football as well. That could have happened to him, and it could have just consumed him differently than it did you.
I think with him, because I talked to him a lot before, while he was in high school, and I think it was over the coach. I think the coach just didn't want to give
Yeah.
him the
There was
playing
some problems
time.
there. I remember. I mean, when I first was coming up at Valley West, there was like. I don't know if he wanted to compete for the position.
Right.
I think it might have been one of those situations, but it could have been a combination of something he had going on as well.
Yeah,
but I don't know much of it.
Because we actually tried Valley West too. That was one of our
I don't know if
options.
you- I
We
don't know if
actually
you knew
went
that.
there.
I don't think I did know that.
Before Berwick, I actually enrolled in Valley West.
Wow.
Came to the practice. I knew some of y'all plays. Y'all little girl names for the left,
Yeah,
boy name
man.
for the right.
Yeah, so he was giving Berwick all the information.
I knew a little
Crazy.
something. I knew a little something.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
But I didn't. Cause, you know what's crazy? I actually talked. You know what's crazy? I talked with Chris Bleich. You know he was supposed to come to Berwick.
Yeah,
Before
I know
Valley
about
West.
that.
He was telling me
I don't know about it, but I know a little bit about it.
Curry was In
his
Can you
ear?
ma- can you
Because Curry
imagine?
used to send out emails and whatnot. I know
Yeah.
about that. I think that's what happened with Bledge too. But
How do you feel me? Can you imagine me and him?
he's
How
from
does somebody
Hanover.
like
You know
that
he's
get
from
away with
Hanover?
that though?
Mhm.
Who's that?
Curry?
Like if he wanted to do that, both of them. Like how do you get away with that being that well known on both ends of that spectrum? You can't do that in high school.
Who are you talking about?
You
like Chris Bleich
You can do
and
that in high
Coach
school.
Curry.
You just can't get caught doing that.
Yeah,
in high
you
school.
That's what I
can.
mean. Like,
Um,
but they're both pretty well known.
But
so.
you just gotta keep it quiet, like, cause he went to school with a kid who was at Nanticoke first,
Yeah.
you know, and he was the quarterback for Nanticoke, and I guess he said something to his girlfriend about him transferring, and he wound up having his brother, right, his older brother, sat up, wound up having to sit out
This is senior
his
season.
senior year because because the brother's girlfriend was talking
I mean,
about it.
they almost tried.
Oh,
They,
so-
I think I heard about that actually.
Yes, so
Damon.
Damon,
That's one.
Yeah.
they tried doing the same thing to you when you came back to Myers.
right.
Nah, that was a bit different. That was like one of those I don't know what you would call it, like one of those like challenges, like it's like a PIAA
Yeah.
court challenge
Yeah,
or something like that for moving for athletic purposes and stuff like that. It was wild. Trying to show me something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, that is nuts though, because they did try you in a similar way. Like,
Keep that off the camera, man.
yeah. Well, no, I can't see it. It's all right.
Like that, yeah. Secret
that's
information.
nuts.
Top secret information.
Right.
How hard was it for you to beat that though?
I think I had coaches like hitting me up saying that I don't go on the other side of the river because there are people watching you.
Yeah.
And if you get caught on this side of the river staying, if they see your car outside of this house, they know you're staying on this side of the river and you're just not gonna be able to play.
Yeah.
And so that was when I was staying with you. I was literally sleeping on Kevin's floor.
Yeah.
And
What school were you trying to go to?
Myers. I was trying to go back to
Okay.
Myers.
Yeah.
You didn't like Valley West?
Nah, I was going through some like personal things at Valley West, and I don't think I was like meshing well with one of the coaches, and so I wanted to go back to Myers, and I wanted to be with all my friends, and I knew that I had some coaches looking at me, like Monmouth was sending me letters and stuff like that, but I really wanted to solidify me getting recruited. And I knew if I went back to Myers, like I would be the man, first of all.
Right.
One. And two, I mean, I'm probably going to put up 200 a game, have 2 touchdowns apiece, which is kind of what happened. But
Easy.
But,
things just changed a lot. And I didn't take the school aspect of
right.
things
But
seriously.
the thing is too, a lot of people got to realize for an athlete, in order to excel at your sport, you have to be able to enjoy that sport.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Because
No
if you're
doubt.
not enjoying it, then eventually you're just gonna get fed up with it, especially when
Yeah.
things start going your way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people don't realize like these people they're like a lot of people complain about like how athletes get paid.
Yeah.
You know how much they make and stuff like that, but they don't realize what these athletes are doing. They're putting their bodies on the line every night. You know, like
Yeah.
they're doing strenuous activities
I think they
that
should be paying
chances
more,
are
to be
that
honest.
you sitting at home can't do.
Yeah.
You know
People
what
are
I
just
mean?
ignorant though.
Right.
People don't understand.
So
what
you
it
can't
takes.
put a price on that. But like I said, you also can't put a happiness. You know, like you need to be happy to do in order to do what you do
Hell yeah.
and to be good at it.
Yeah.
You know, because again, if you're not happy what you're doing, that's a lot of times when injuries happen because one, you're not going 100%, and the
Yeah.
other person is. You know,
Living
so there's-
proof.
Yeah.
Right. So
why I
there's
got
I
hurt.
mean, there's like you said, there's levels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong. Like, I don't feel like I don't think it should be a problem with people people or families, I should say, wanting to change schools because they want to give their child a better shot at
Yeah.
at life. You know what I mean? That shouldn't be a problem. I don't see why the problem
Yeah.
is with
I
that.
see
you
that
know,
too.
especially if you're coming from a program
Yeah.
that's failing, you know, and you have a chance to go to a program that's going to better your kids. I don't see
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
agree with you, but there's not like the problem. I think is there's not a good enough middle ground to like stop the argument that like all schools would just continue to recruit people. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's not an easier way that like that can be done in which people wouldn't still just recruit players from everywhere and everybody could just be happy. Like a win-win situation. There's not really one in terms of that. Like
Right.
being able to transfer schools wherever you want.
But then I ended up just getting an apartment
Yeah.
my junior, senior year of high school. And then
Mm.
what can they say? I'm living here every single day. And
Right.
they really couldn't do anything at that point.
Basically, the thing is, the worst teams will get worse.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like you got people like yourself that would have been an all-star at Myers,
Yeah.
and Myers was already not the best school.
Yeah.
So now with losing their all-star, they wasn't trying to do that.
Yeah.
They went from going 3-7 to 1-7
Yeah.
or 1-9 or whatever.
We were pretty good. We didn't go 1-9.
No, I think
No, I'm
like
not-
from Valley West to Myers.
Yeah,
Right. That's what
yeah.
happened. Yeah.
We definitely weren't great, but
Chase, I thought you had offers though coming out of high school. Did you not?
I did.
From who?
I had offers from University of Miami.
I remember that, and I remember you were
Michigan.
posting pictures of that and stuff
Yep,
like that.
Michigan,
So like,
Ohio State.
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
that was my dream college, Ohio State.
my honestly, if I'm gonna
You're a
be,
Michigan fan?
if I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, have you ever been to the campus?
Nah.
Ohio
Yes.
State.
Yeah,
I
it's
know
I've
not,
been
he
there.
has.
it's not nice, bro.
Really?
The stadium is beautiful though.
The
The horseshoe.
stadium is nice, but the field is it's like modern. It's old. It's all it's like brown
Yeah.
bricks. It's old.
That
I don't know
is
if you
true.
like
I
that
think-
kind of stuff.
The environment of a college and whatnot plays a big part on whether or not you actually want to go there or not.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest. When I fell in love with I was gonna commit to Michigan. I fell in love.
Mm.
I actually had a camp there too.
Yeah.
Like, Michigan Stadium was beautiful. Going
Yeah.
So
down-
what
going
happened?
down
Like,
there.
what was that
Grades. I didn't
Grades?
take the grades part seriously.
like? Damn,
Yeah.
bro.
I missed it
Yeah.
by like point
Mm.
4.
The SAT,
No, my GPA.
GPA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
man.
needed back then. You needed like a 2.5.
How do you feel about that though? Like as a football player, like do you almost feel like it's not fair to like punish a player athletically for what they can't do in the classroom?
I'm gonna say this, that I don't think that any individual can't do the schoolwork.
I agree.
I didn't think they don't want to. I didn't want to do
Me
it.
me as well.
I'd rather go to practice and be an
Mhm.
all-star on the field than do a little bit of studying. I'd rather play my game or go out with
Yeah.
friends to play pickup game basketball than.
That's kind of
pick
what
up
I
a
mean
book,
though.
and
So
I'm
it's almost like it's
still-
not fair.
And I'm gonna be honest, I'm still the same way. I
Yeah.
still haven't changed in that aspect, but the only difference is when you get into college and you become what they need.
Yeah.
There's always a raise around the rest.
Yeah.
And it is a business. Like they're incentivized to make you guys do better in college. Like
Yeah.
schools get more money funded to them by making sure everybody has higher grades and shit like that as well. And for,
In 4 years, I've been in college. I've paid nothing.
that's amazing. That's like I think that was one of the biggest things that held me back from the want to go to college. Is I know too many people that are going to be in debt for the rest of their lives.
And me too. And I told Dad, like, college is not for me.
Yeah,
If I didn't play football, I wouldn't have went.
I agree. It was the same way for me.
So I wasn't, especially when my name got branded as Chase, 2-time All Conference, preseason All American, all that stuff I was
Yeah.
getting. I became like everybody wanted me.
Mm.
I have coached on speakers, just thought it was funny just to hear like, oh, you changed my program, like the last guy an hour ago didn't just say the same thing.
Mm.
Like when it became to the point where like coach would hit me up, he'd be talking to me and I'll text him, are you gonna offer? Like you don't really say it to
Yeah.
a coach if you're not nobody, because then they're gonna look at you like, oh, well, we really don't want this guy.
Yeah.
And then right after that, they'll send the offer, money and everything. Like
That,
Even
I,
that-
would, I would speak on this to to his performance. A lot of the offers he was getting,
Yeah.
he turned down because of me, because I was sick,
Mm.
and a lot of these schools were like offering to take care of me.
Yeah.
To
Really?
get him
my
to
school,
come.
my school in
Like-
Kentucky was gonna get me an apartment so he can live with me.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my daughter,
So,
even in Canada, the junior CFL was sending me pictures of a water park.
Yeah.
So they said, "Oh yeah, your daughter can come to the water park for free, whatever."
Damn.
Like, stuff like when I tell you, like, I worked hard to be able to do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
And it's great that they're finally allowed to take care of their players more in a sense like that. Like just recently, I believe it was last year, you're
Right.
finally allowed to make money off your name and likeness
Yep.
as a athlete now in NCAA.
Yep.
I have a
Which
couple.
it's amazing how you couldn't do that in the
Yeah.
past. Like that boggles my mind as to
Yeah,
why you
'cause
would hold somebody
the
back
schools
like
made
that.
so much money off of these
Yeah.
guys, especially
Yeah.
if they went to a bowl game.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
And that's what sucks is like you could see right there, like it's a business. They're only using you for what you can provide to them, and they don't want you to really be able to progress as a person in any way.
Right.
Financially.
That sucks.
What sucks even more because like I would say like the majority, I would like maybe like 90% of kids that go to these big schools, you know, go on, they get full scholarships. Their background is like almost poverty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no
know what I'm
doubt.
saying?
No doubt.
Like, so, like, you want these kids to go this X amount of miles away from their home that they,
Yeah.
that's all they known,
They really
and
don't got no money
and,
to
and
start
got
with.
no money to start with. Yeah,
crazy,
you know,
right?
so the family's struggling, you know, and they can't help,
Yeah.
you know.
Nah, you know what's funny though, man, is like I think that at these schools, those like big schools in particular, like they were finding ways to pay these kids. Because I went on a visit.
Definitely.
I'm not going to mention the school, but it was a Division I school, and these kids who were coming from that exact backgrounds were driving to practice in Jaguars with diamond necklaces
Well, I mean,
and G wagons and stuff like that,
I will say this.
or Mercedes. Like
There's loopholes.
there's way, and I know guys who played in those big schools that would say like, there's ways of getting paid. It's
Right.
just
Let me
Yeah.
tell you a little.
the check has a different name on it. You
Let
know
me-
what I
let me
mean,
t-
or some, or
let
a
me-
different
let me
reason
tell
on it.
you a little something. We're not playing in Division I school. Oh well, NCAA Division I. I play NAI Division I. There's only Division I, Division II, and NAI.
Yeah.
So there's people say, oh, Division IIIs can't give full scholarships. Division IIs can't give full scholarships. They can, and they will.
if
but-
they want you bad enough.
Yeah.
Like I have had I was gonna go to Del Val for free
Mm-hmm.
when I was going there. I was gonna go there for free. Like there's ways around all that. Like if they want you, they're gonna get you.
Yeah.
Like even if they have to up the academic stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
They'll scratch your back in some way.
Right.
At NAI,
well,
I
you
needed
know,
a
like I
2.0 to
said,
get in. I had a 2.2, but they gave me an academic scholarship for a 2.2.
Mm.
Like there's
Yeah.
ways around all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
It's amazing how that works. But I
It
guess
is.
it's like that
It's
anywhere.
The boosters, like I said, you know, but I saw firsthand with Berwick boosters
Yeah.
what they do for the players. So I can just imagine what it does on a Division I level.
Oh,
You know
God,
what I
yeah.
mean? I can imagine.
Yeah.
You know, like they like somebody told me, like, you remember that movie? I think it was called The Program. I think it is. He was like, he's like, that's what happens. You know, like they go to like a banquet with the boosters, and
Yeah.
the boosters hand out envelopes. You know, he's like, that
Wow.
really happens. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Damn.
that's something that happens.
think-
'cause
Sure.
Do you think Najee Harris was driving to practice on a bike, on a pedal bike?
no. Look at that guy.
Exactly.
They were probably flying him to practice.
Right.
That's what
G5 jet.
Yeah, I mean, and that part is, you know what? It happens in high school too.
Yeah.
Because I forget what school it was, but they were bringing a kid from
It was Emotep. They were driving a kid 2 hours, picking him up with a limo
Yeah.
at his house.
Atlantic City every day,
New Jersey, all the way to
in
Philly.
a
Wow.
limo to school every day.
That's
So he
insane.
could play. So
You know, the guy that Rob Wawa, he was supposed to be the #1 draft pick. You gotta know. What's his name?
I don't know either.
Back when I was probably like a senior or junior in college. I mean, in high school.
I have no idea.
He was the #1. Was it running back or something?
Yeah, he was a running back.
Running back.
Doesn't ring a bell to me. There's a kid around here right now playing at Scranton Prep that is apparently really highly rated
Yeah,
as a running back.
Ty Montgomery,
Yeah.
and he has like 22 plus offers to big
Yeah.
schools.
Wow.
Nice.
From Scranton Prep.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a private school.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
understood.
they get to do it legally. Everything we're talking about right now.
Exactly.
I played Scranton Prep in my sophomore year in the playoffs, and they beat us pretty bad.
Yeah,
never
us
understood
too
that.
at Myers.
I
I
was at
never
Berwick.
understood how that could be allowed. Because, I mean, you're taking two teams that are clearly – one team is clearly at a disadvantage. They cannot do what that other team is doing.
Right.
And if you're telling me all those players that played for Scranton Prep when I played them were just kids going to that school, you're fucking lying to yourself. There's no way.
Exactly.
There's no way. They were like a mini college team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Across the board on the line, they're 6'4", all of them. That does not happen at a regular high school.
That's what I tell you. That's what it. When we did the 7-on-7, it wasn't Emotep. It was the other school. It was like in Philly, but it was like a
The old boys school.
yeah.
He talking about dang, they were black,
Yeah.
and it was like a kid. Kids go to jail from.
Yeah,
that
it's
school.
like a disciplinary school.
Okay.
And let me tell you, those kids are ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
I've seen some fast people in my life.
Mm.
Okay, this kid
What's
Caught,
the end zone?
caught an interception
Yeah.
in the end zone, and I swear to God,
He was in the other end zone
before
his feet even touched
before
the
his
ground.
before his feet hit the ground, he was already in the other end zone. Like seriously,
Yeah.
like he was literally that fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous. Like they had what, like 12, like 3-star or 4-star players on the team.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's nutty.
I mean, there's clearly like teams have like central hubs for that. Like a team will either have no starred recruits or they will have like 3, 4, 5.
right.
I always wondered how that happened, but I guess it just clearly means that those teams are doing more in getting these players.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if you knew, but I was a 3-star going in there. I'm leaving Lackawanna going into Kansas.
Really? How does that work? I never understood how that worked.
So like were you ever on Max Prep?
Yeah.
Stuff like
Yeah.
that? You had to
Yeah.
play on Max Prep.
Yeah.
I had one of my players was on Max Prep too. I pancaked 3 people, 1 play for a touchdown.
Oh my goodness.
And that right after that, they ranked me and getting the offers and all that stuff. Like it was known that I was getting all these offers. And
So that's literally what it is, just what they could see.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And me, I'm not gonna say I was the face of Berwick, but when Coach Curry passed, I was on the news talking
Yeah.
at his funeral. Like I was like involved, so much involved. Everyone knew who I was and why I was there, why I was there.
Like it was crazy. His his junior year, you know, I think it was when Coach retired, right?
Coach, he died after my sophomore year.
Yeah.
After the season.
So
Was
the
he
new-
still coaching at that point too when he passed?
They
No,
they had fired him, and that's what killed him. 'Cause
Yeah.
he was
Really?
I
he
think
was one
we
of those
think-
people that
They
you
fired
know
him?
Yeah. What do they fire him for?
because he had too much power.
'cause- yeah.
They didn't, the 12th man. Not the school board. The school board
That
likes
makes
to
sense.
they like to control everything, and they couldn't control the man that was so powerful. He was the reason why Berwick was known on the map.
That's interesting.
That doesn't pop up on your Google Maps. That
Yeah.
Berwick, he put them on the map.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, which is weird because I would think that that'd be what would be bringing in that school way more money. So why would they have a problem with it? I don't know.
Listen,
Maybe he was
you and
just
me both.
willing to step outside of like what they thought was reasonable. Like he just did his own thing and
well,
didn't
like,
abide by
again-
that.
Again, there's a story behind the story.
Yeah.
There's this lady that she's on the school board, and apparently the story goes her son was younger, and I guess he tried to play for the team,
Yeah.
and Curry wouldn't allow him on the team, so she kind of held a grudge, and
Yeah.
and ever since she did everything she
later.
could, to get him out of
That's
there.
why he went to Valley
That's
West.
why, yeah.
He did
she's
go
the-
to Valley
yeah,
West
that's
for a
the
little
reason
while.
why he left,
They got
because
him out there the
they were
first
messing
time.
with him then.
And then he came back.
But
Berwick wasn't
like
with him.
again, the thing about him, he was that no nonsense coach. Like he's not gonna bullshit you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you don't belong out there, he's gonna tell you
Yeah.
you don't belong out there. You know, because here's the thing now. Because now the son, he winds up growing up and becoming a teacher for the district. You know, and then I hear this story. His students trick him into getting into a cardboard box,
Oh no.
and he can't get out of it.
Oh God.
It's not taped. It's just, you know how you fold it to keep
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he couldn't get out of a cardboard box. Like, how is this kid supposed to play football? If as a grown man you can't get out of a cardboard box.
He's also a teacher.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
Like,
rough.
well, we know how he became a teacher.
Well,
you
yeah.
know, but
sure.
Oh yeah. You could
yeah.
definitely. Yeah. The
you know,
schools are
but,
very political.
I mean, come on. Like, if he didn't have the talent, he didn't have the talent. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
I remember this one time where we had this one guy on our team. His name was Anthony Cicini. I mean, the name. Just think about the name, and his dad would pull up in a nice blacked out car, suit. Like you knew he was in the mob, man. Like Cicini was his last name.
yeah.
But he was dangerous. So
Dangerous.
we the one time he messed up a read. Coach took him out. He's like, put someone else in there. That was just as good. He went and told his parents. He's like, he took me out. They came to the field. Curry was like, okay. And then he running back in the field. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going back out. No, you're not. He said, just because you called your parents, I don't care. And right there, I was like, okay, I like this.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
this. Even though he threatened my spot one time, but
Everybody got to get it at one point, man.
Exactly,
Yeah. Right.
exactly. That's it. You know.
Yeah. You need that stuff.
mind you, I'm 6'3". This guy's like 5'2". I'm looking down at him. He's talking to me like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, coach. Yes, coach.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's like the weird thing about people in power like that is like as a football coach, you're almost around people like everybody that could just kill you at any moment. Basically, like you probably could have flatlined him in an instant. And,
for real though, like.
And you have to just respect him. Like he could yell at you all he wants to and all that, but I mean, there's not really much most players are gonna do about it.
I played for him for one season, my sophomore season, but at the end of the season, you know those coolers that you put the water and Gatorade in?
Yeah.
He was sitting on that. That's how sick he was. He was sitting on that with a microphone, like he was still yelling at us with that microphone. Like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
He fell a couple times in practice. It didn't matter. He was.
Which is also crazy how given the state he was in, how old he was, and that he was sick, that they would still fire him. That's so fucked
And
up.
that's, I think he's one of those people that like, you know when you know Joe Paterno, how he died right after they fired him.
Yeah.
He loved the game. That's his game. He was
Yeah, it
coaching
was
since
keeping
he
him
was
alive.
Curry was coaching since he was 18 years old. Like that's all.
Oh,
That's who, that was
wow.
his. That was his
He
life.
coached down here at Luzerne. It was a team called Luzerne, I guess.
He actually coached. My grandfather was his first All-Star.
Yeah,
That's
it was
crazy.
His first
Oh,
D1
shoot.
offer, yep.
Yeah,
It's like,
damn.
what are you gonna do at that point? Like, you're gonna pick up a new hobby?
Right.
Like, if you're him, like, what are you gonna do?
Because here's the thing. Like again, because I was on in the Boosters Club, I learned so much about this man. He had offers to go
Division
coach Division I schools.
Yeah,
That
I
makes
heard that
sense.
too. I did hear
But
that too.
He chose to stay at Berwick, and let me tell you, he only made $5,000 because
That's crazy.
Because the school district didn't even pay his check. The Booster Club paid.
Yeah.
So he only made
wasn't in
five
it for the
five.
money.
Yeah.
He wanted to see kids go.
Yeah.
He was a driver's ed teacher for the school, and he
We had,
coached.
we had that driver's ed class at our high school.
Yeah.
You can take that.
And he was and he coached, and we paid his salary for the like I said, and it was only $5,000, and you got high school coaches out there making six figures, like easy.
Different states. You
Yeah.
mean like in
Yeah.
like
In
Texas?
In
Oh, really?
Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yeah.
Southern Columbia just won 7 national titles in a row.
Yeah,
You
that
don't
man
think
getting
he's
Think he's
paid.
bringing it in like that?
Yes.
You don't think he's getting paid?
He getting paid.
Oh man.
He turned like we tried to give him raises. He turned them down.
Yeah.
He didn't want it. He didn't want it. He did it because he loved the game.
Anywhere you
That's
think of,
amazing.
like,
Yeah.
Damn.
But it's almost better that he didn't, because you see how what happens when you do that.
Impact.
Think about like Urban Meyer, for example, the coach that went to go on and coach the Jaguars, and that was a complete failure. But everybody had always said that, like, what if you took like a Nick Saban and let him coach in the NFL? What would happen?
Right.
I think when I don't know, because that kind of counteracts what we were saying earlier about like stepping out of that comfort zone and like moving up levels, because there's levels to everything. But as a coach like that going to the NFL, he completely flopped. How do you?
Well,
It can't be easy to make that
well, I mean, if
transition.
you think about it, on a college level, you kind of get to pick and choose who you want, who
Yeah.
you don't want.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in the NFL, you're kind of just stuck with what you have.
Yeah.
And
No,
another
and-
thing
and-
I can say too is, even though, let's use Nick Saban. Even though he gets all the best recruits,
Yeah.
there's someone on that team that's not that good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
In the NFL, there's not that. They're all
Yeah.
freaks.
Right.
Like they're all best at what they do.
Yeah.
No matter if there could be 15 linemen on the team, and they're all 15 can play at any given time.
And does Nick Saban know how to handle a loss? Like, does he?
And that's
Right.
and that's another thing. Like
I think, again, as a coach, you have to be able to get these guys to buy into the system.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he went from
winning
from
every game
teaching.
to losing everyone.
Well, he went from teaching like young adults
Yeah.
to grown ass men.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's a jump.
And you can
You
college
know?
kids are just like you said. We learn to be disciplined.
Right.
Once they get that $1 million check, you
Yeah,
can't
you
tell
can't
them
tell them
nothing.
nothing.
Oh,
You
some
know?
of them players,
Yeah,
you can't.
so-
You're not
so
speaking
that's-
nothing to
that-
some of
Like
them
you see
players.
those
that
guys be
could've-
in the fit, like snatching chains on the field. Like, what are they? They're grown men. What are
Yeah.
you doing that for? Over a rival you had in college?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And as a college coach, I'd imagine you hold a lot of power over those players.
Right.
As an NFL coach, probably
Yeah,
NFL
not
players,
so much.
Probably
NFL
not so
players
much,
make
yeah.
more than their coaches.
I was gonna say,
Exactly,
I'm sure
so-
some NFL teams would go the route of getting rid of a coach before they would get rid of certain players. You know
Right.
what I mean? For sure.
Right.
Like,
So-
okay, look, we can even use Tom Brady for example. You think Tom Brady is probably one of the nicest person you ever meet?
Yeah.
He's just a nice person, calm. But if he had like the attitude like Richard Sherman,
Yeah.
they're not firing him.
Oh yeah,
It
no.
doesn't matter how he sounds.
Me and a friend I just worked with, or a friend that I work with, were talking about that the other day in terms of like the whole thing going on with like Deshaun Watson, like how he's facing all of those cases, but yet he's still playing in the NFL. I don't really know how you should look at that, but imagine like Tom Brady was under the same boat. I'm sure Tom Brady would have a way easier chance of being able to continue.
Well,
to play
they just
football
said
than
he
did.
wasn't going to miss any games.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is good because I mean the problem is with, I would say, America is you're presumed guilty
Yeah.
until proven innocent,
Yeah.
which the law says reverse. You
Yeah.
know, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we have here. You
It's-
know?
That's one of the weird things about social media, though, is the moment like that fire starts, you can't put it out. So the
Exactly.
moment that
Exactly.
It's like pouring
you-
gasoline on the
yeah,
flame.
you can make whatever accusation you want about anybody in existence right now. You can just go online and submit it.
Yep.
Oh,
Whether
I
it's
hate
right or
Chase
wrong.
for this
Exactly.
reason. You know what I mean? And people, like some people out there, will take that
And run
as
with it.
complete
Roll it
truth, and they'll just run with it, and they will never do any research, and they'll never know anything. Not that I know a lot about that whole case and everything going on, but I'm sure a lot of people that are willing to just jump on the bandwagon and like either talk shit or love them or whatever, they don't really know much about what's going on at all. It's very easy to hop on that bandwagon.
I don't know too much about the situation too, but one thing that I can never wrap my head around is that Deshaun Watson, right? He's a starting
Yeah.
quarterback, well paid, probably got a nice car, nice house,
Oh
whatever.
yeah, for sure.
Whatever. Now, I can't see, like, I'll use me for example. If that was me,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna touch no girl that you feel me. Like, he can get any girl he wants. So I don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to think that he did that because he can really go out to the club and get any girl he
Yeah,
wants.
I made that same argument with this guy that I said I was just talking about at work too about this whole situation. I said the same thing, but then I also, like, being as objective as I can about it, I also had to imagine like there's people out there capable of doing
Right.
amazingly awful things,
Yeah.
whether they're great people or bad people, or if they're known for doing really well. A lot of people have demons that like a lot of
yeah.
people don't know about, and I think whether or not, because I don't know him, I don't
Right.
know the situation, and it's easy just based off what you see to like think that, because I thought the same thing. I like, as Deshaun Watson, like you said, he's a multi-millionaire. He could probably go to any club and get what any girl he wants. But some people are psychologically fucked up and they don't think that way. Like
Yeah.
they much rather, say for example in his case, be like an aggressor. They want to like, I don't know.
Have what they
People are
can.
just wired weird. So like,
Want what they can have.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
people are just wired differently. And I think like for you, it wouldn't make, like, you can't even think of how that would ever make sense. But for somebody like him, he might just be fucked up, man.
Right.
And
That's. I mean, it's a
and that's very-
possibility.
that's very true.
But again, you like you know, us as
But let me ask you this: 24.
I think, wasn't it like 40 something? I thought it was like
yeah, I
48.
heard that number too. I think it was
It
24.
was close 20 out of
Yeah.
24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could have sworn
And-
it was in
and-
like the 40s, and that don't make
And
sense.
24, that seems like a lot. What it seems like is, let's just say he did do it, right?
Yeah.
And let's say he did it to like, I don't see him doing it to 24. That I don't see happening. But maybe say he did it to like 3 or 4,
Yeah.
and he settled. Cause that's what he's doing. He's settling them. You don't think those other people saw a paycheck?
Oh,
They just
I
they're just
agree.
They're just gonna say, "Oh yeah, he did that to me too."
That's what I think is the most likely case scenario. I think, let's say, for example, he had one really fucked up experience where he did do something that he shouldn't have done.
right.
And I think a lot of people will also take that and run with it. Like the moment somebody sees the opportunity for a check, especially if you're crazy, and say, for example, a lot of the people, well, I believe all of them throwing the accusations are females. You got hormones going on. Like everybody's crazy in their own way. People are willing to do wild things. I think the most likely case scenario is it may have happened, like he was saying, maybe once or twice,
Right.
which is still awful. But I also think a lot of people throw gas onto that flame as well and try to penny pinch their money as well.
Right.
So it's hard to tell. It's really hard to like figure it out. I just don't know enough about it to like really understand like what's going on
Right.
there. That's just from like my knowledge on like him as like an NFL player, like the amount of money he makes, what I've seen of him media wise. It doesn't make sense to me, but a lot of things don't make sense to me. A lot of people and like the actions that they do
Right.
off camera don't make sense to me. So
And it could also be he could have did that to all 24.
yeah.
But because the picture that we see him as makes us think that otherwise. And
Yeah.
it could be very true. But for them to bash his name like this without proving it, it's
I agree.
crazy to me.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Because, yes, he may have done it and he may have not done it. But why don't we figure that the fuck out before we're just online going crazy
Now
about it?
everyone's
You know
like,
what I mean?
now everyone's like, oh, he's playing this season. He shouldn't be.
Or I'm gonna ban boycott the NFL.
And they don't even know what's going on. It's just as of right now.
That's what's
And again,
argue with.
I don't know enough about it to like really say that. But as far as I'm aware, it's just all accusations as of right now.
Right.
So, and it's been going on for a while. And didn't he already sit a bunch of games for this? Like, wasn't Deshaun Watson not playing like these last 2 years because of that?
I think
not
I think it just happened.
Well, he definitely didn't play in this most recent season.
Yeah, no, I thought he was hurt or something. I
Oh,
thought,
I really don't know.
I thought
I just
I thought
figured.
it just came out. He might have
could
missed
have
this
been
season.
hurt.
Yeah, I just figured he wasn't playing because they wouldn't let him due to all these pending cases. That's what I thought the case was.
Because if that was the case, I wouldn't have picked him up if I was the Browns.
Oh no, that's another thing. Me and this kid were talking about is how fucked up of a position they have to be in now
Oh,
because
yeah, they're taking a lot of backlash for picking up a.
yeah, and they let go of a quarterback, which again, like if we're talking about just being objective, like nobody knows the full situation of what was going on there, but everybody was painting a horrible picture about him as well, Baker Mayfield. So they
Especially one of his teammates.
But I'm not gonna lie though, I think that like there might just be something messed up in the front office over there in Cleveland that a lot of these players and people and teammates are not getting along. Like I think you got to look at that organization as a whole and just see what the hell is going on there and look at it for that. I don't think it's the individual players ruining it
Right.
for everybody, like making it just Baker's fault that like all these players are unhappy. I think there's a lot going on coaching wise, front office wise, whatever. I just think
Everything.
there's a lot of
There has, like you
a
said,
whole
there has
system.
to be a common denominator.
Yeah.
You know?
The front office is never going to get in trouble because you don't know who the front office is.
Yeah, that's just what they're called. They're the front office.
yeah,
They're
all
just
you-
some.
All you know is Baker Mayfield. All you know is Odell's dad coming on and making it
Yeah.
stuff and stuff like that is childish. Just
And those
play,
people,
play the game of football.
yeah, those people get the most media attention. So their feelings about the situation are obviously going to get highlighted more than like,
Yep.
say, like a Baker Mayfield. Odell has one of the bigger like media profiles in all of sports. You know what I mean? He can say whatever he wants online and get away with it.
Yep.
So it's like you really got to be there in Cleveland and know what's going on to really see like what's going on there. I don't know. To me, from just an outside perspective, I think there's clearly something wrong with that team as a whole. It's not just a quarterback. It's not just a wide receiver. It's not just anything. And that's not just a head coach. It's the whole unit. They got to figure the whole thing out.
Right.
But I really got to go pee right now. So I was going to ask you guys, how long do you guys got? You guys busy for the rest of the day, or do you want to continue?
We're good.
All right. Well, I'll be right back then.
All right.
Ow, shit.